Tomas, are we ready?
Recording in progress.
Okay. All right, this is a regular public meeting of the Wellfleet Selectboard, Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. The time is now 6:10. Apologies for the technical issues, and just to note ahead of time that apparently video is not going to be available online.
Well, no, the video isn't available in the room, but they should be able to see us.
Oh, well, they can see us. We just can't see them.
Yeah, we can't see you.
Yeah.
All right.
But the audio will be available. So to begin with, do we have any announcements or comments on by board members?
Mr. Chair, I did want to say that last week I did attend the Barnstable County Human Rights Advisory Commission's International Human Rights Day. And the reason I bring that up is that there was quite a few people there from Wellfleet, as Harriet Jerusha Coram, and many of you know her here. She has been here a long time and a real activist, and really started the MLK March. I think it was one of the first on the Cape, and has been a peace and justice person, and she was recognized, and there was quite a few people from Wellfleet there. And I was very happy that she was recognized, and I just wanted to bring that up and congratulate her, and thank you.
Ryan? Sure.
Just for the public, I know the holidays is often a time where everybody is very happy, but it can also be a time where people struggle. And so, especially with, world events and the constant mass shootings, if anybody is in need of assistance, there is assistance available locally for mental health. And it is, if you want to learn about it, check in with the health department. So thank you.
Josh?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to let everyone know that my next office hours are going to be on January 12th from 12 to 1 at Town Hall. Thanks so much.
Any announcements from town administration?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, with that, we'll go to public comments. Public comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker. The board will not deliberate or vote on any matter raised solely during announcements and public comments. So we will start with any comments within the room.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah.
Here as the chairman of the SAB, we furnished you guys with a letter. We have some concerns about the expenditures on the ice machine, and I just wanted to read the letter to you to get it into the record and out to you guys.
Can you make sure you're on the mic?
Yeah, right. You pull it
Sure.
and turn it up to you. There you go.
That's better.
Okay, there we go. So, subject, urgent concern regarding budget on ice machine. Dear Select Board members, we, the SAB, are writing to express our serious concern about the current expenditure on the ice machine project, which is estimated significantly to exceed our initial budget thoughts. $180,000 was the original estimate and was to include 2 ice machines which were to be paid out of a grant. Due to the lack of expediently completing the purchase of said ice machines, only 1 machine was received from the grant. The remaining expenses were to be paid by grants that the town received and were lost due to not being ready to move forward with the containers and installation. The primary drivers for this overrun appear to be not implementing the movable 2-container system that was researched by the SAB subcommittee and suggested. No plans were ever put into place, and a new and better, albeit more expensive system was proposed by those not involved over the past few years in the project. The SAB subcommittee spent immeasurable time and effort to observe similar setups in surrounding towns and even went out of state, Rhode Island, to observe the simple yet effective systems they had in place. This resulted in an expanded scope of work, pilings being driven with no clear plan in place, decks being constructed with no drawings or engineering, no funds to finish this project unless the town asked the town to supply them. Unless the town asked the town to supply them, none of which was called for by the subcommittee as necessary to meet the needs of the shellfishing and boating community. To bring the project back on track, we propose we discuss options including completely stopping all work. At no time did the SAB expect the town taxpayers to pay for the project in any way, and the project was anticipated to put money into the Marinas Enterprise Fund and generate enough revenue to pay for itself and needed repairs as the years of use went on. We'd appreciate the opportunity to meet and to review the detailed project and formulate an agreed-upon action plan. Thank you for your attention to this critical matter. Sincerely, Shellfish Advisory Board. The one thing I wanted to say on top of that was the completely stopping work. I guess I mean completely stopping funding any work. Doesn't mean completely stopping trying to come up with ideas, but anything that we're paying for. There's been talks of $48,000 for engineering for an ice machine that we had plans for, that we were copying communities that have already done it very cost effectively. So I guess stop all work does not mean stop brainstorming, but it means do not pay out any more money until we can actually get together and try to come up with a plan that is not funded on the backs of the taxpayers. Thank you very much.
John?
Yes, Tom?
We don't respond to public comment. I just wanted to note that Mr. Picard and I are going to be inviting you to a session.
Okay.
Okay? There are a lot, I can't respond.
Yes, that's fine.
I will
Okay,
respond
but-
when we meet.
Yes,
because-
thank you very much, and I look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Anyone else in the room? Seeing none,
Kathleen Bacon and Sarah Flack.
okay, Kathleen Bacon.
Good evening, Board. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
For the public record, Kathleen Bacon speaking, and with apologies for my raspy voice, I've come down with a cold after running naked through the snow.
Thanks for letting us know.
Don't you just love the off-season here?
Yeah.
I do. Now that I have your attention, I'm speaking tonight on an item coming up later on the agenda, the discussion of a kayak rental at Gull Pond. I am completely and unequivocally against bringing back a business presence on the pond. A little back history. In 2011, the town chose not to renew the lease with Jack's Boat Rentals. There was a consensus from Conscom and our conservation agent that significant erosion and environmental damage was occurring from people either lugging up or down watercraft over the banking. In 2018, at the request of many residents along the pond, the Select Board adopted a policy to have paddleboard lessons and tours restricted to the off-season. During the pandemic, we saw a dramatic increase in personal watercraft use at all of our ponds, but particularly at Gull Pond. The Kayak Rack Lottery Program was created to deal with this increase in recreational activity. This program gives the town the ability to control the number of watercraft to some extent at our ponds. This request from Mr. Schiller is about commerce. He is asking to bring 20 additional watercraft to Gull Pond for the purpose of rental. It opens up the possibility of other like businesses who would want the same opportunity to do the same. I urge you to not allow this proposal to go forward. Adding more watercraft is not a sound environmental policy. Our ponds are in crisis. They need strong stewardship to maintain their health and sustainability for the long term. Allow the past decisions made to stand. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Let's see, Sarah Flagg.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. I just want to check in with the board and make sure that the group appeal that we filed on November 18th regarding real estate tax minimums and beach stickers is still on your radar. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, Tom? Okay.
Yes, it is, and you should have some response from the town later this week or early next week.
Thank you. Okay, let's see.
Police awards.
I don't see anyone else.
I don't see any other hands up. One last call for anyone in the room. Last call for online. Going, gone. We'll move on now to the police officer awards, if the department could join us at the table.
You need two, need more?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and the Select Board. Thanks for having me on. I know you have a long agenda tonight, so we'll make this brief.
Right, sorry, we're late.
We began the award program recently, back in September, so I'm just going to let the lieutenant speak of it real quick, and then I'll just let you know about awards tonight.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, or Mr. Chairman, excuse me. We just wanted to briefly touch on the things that we're doing at the department. We're attempting to get accredited. That's one of the most important jobs that I'm in charge of right now. It's a rigorous process, and one of the things that the chief identified was a lack of a policy or a memorandum that recognizes the great work that our officers do. So back in September, as the chief said, he implemented a memorandum outlining how we would recognize the accomplishments and the achievements of our officers as they go through their regular duties and sometimes going above and beyond their duties. So basically what we have here tonight is a recognition, the first one of its kind that I'm aware of, that the Wellfleet Police Department has done for outstanding service that our officers have done for a particular call for service that I'll let the chief speak about.
So I just want to call to your attention the events of Saturday, September 6th. Specifically, the Wellfleet Police Incident Number 25-65AR. The incident began sometime, what time was it, 9:15 p.m. when officers who were on shift at the time received information from an outside agency of a potential suicidal female who is currently believed to be in the town of Wellfleet. Shortly after this information was received, Sergeant Clark located the involved individual, who was determined to be a 19-year-old female, in the parking lot of Whitecrest Beach. Sergeant Clark began an initial interaction with the subject, who was the sole occupant of the vehicle. She was reclined and oddly positioned in the rear of her vehicle with the rear seats folded forward. Sergeant D'Oliveira and Officer Bunce soon joined Sergeant Clark. After an hour and 22 minutes, her demeanor began to change. She began displaying signs of consistent with much more serious and determined display of ending her own life. She began to bite down on her shirt while she was in the rear of her vehicle and began to put pressure on her arms and wrists using the sharp end of the knife. The officers used every tactic imaginable to try to reason with her, including personal stories and photos of their own families and loved ones, to try to resolve the situation. It was clear in reviewing this incident several times, the officers believed that the subject was about to seriously injure herself. After about an hour and 53 minutes of negotiations and repeated attempts to have the subject give up the knife, Sergeant Clark and Officer Bunce were able to distract her enough that Sergeant D'Oliveira was given a window of opportunity to try to disarm the subject. At a calculated disregard for his own safety, Sergeant D'Oliveira jumped into the back seat of the car and was able to disarm the subject temporarily to gain control. The officers were able to then pull the subject out of the car and later transport her to the Cape Cod Hospital for assistance. In the command staff review of the situation, we formed the opinion that the entire shift handled the situation professionally and with great credit to themselves and the patch that they wear. The situation could have gone much differently if each employee had not handled the situation the way they did. For above reasons in the description for these actions, I would like to issue the awards to the following. Officer Bunce, you can come up. And Sergeant Clark, who was unable to attend today. We're issuing them the Department Certificate of Commendation for their compassion, dedication, and the manner in which they perform their duties during this tense, high-stress call. And Sergeant D'Oliviera, if you can come on up. For his action in disarming the subject while she was seated in the rear of a car. We'd like to give him the excellent police duty medal.
There you go. That's what's on there. Okay, good.
So as the lieutenant mentioned, this is the first time that we have issued awards since I've been with the department for 18 years. So that's all we have tonight. Just wanted to thank everyone, and that's it.
Well, thank you. I'd like to say that with depressing regularity, we read how these types of incidents around the country end very, very differently. It is all too easy and usually can be justified one way or another to resort to the use of force, which often turns out to be deadly. So I think there's a special commendation in order for our department and the way they handled this. It really sets a high standard for police interactions in mental health originating situations. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
All right. And just as an aside, this was handled so professionally and quietly. I wasn't even aware of it until tonight.
No one knew. Okay.
So moving on to the Shellfish appointment, and this is the reappointment of Deputy Shellfish Constable Chris Manula. Is Nancy?
She's online,
Oh.
on her way back from Boston,
Oh, okay.
so she should be unmuted or trying.
Okay, we'll give it a minute to see how this works out.
Come on up.
Is Chris here?
Can you
Oh,
hear
hey,
me?
yeah. Come on up.
Okay.
There.
Is Chris there?
Yep.
Okay. Tell me when.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
Okay. I apologize that I'm not there in person. I wanted to be there. I'm always there. But I got held up in traffic coming back from Boston. But I'm really proud of Chris, and I just want to say a couple of words about what it's been like working with him and how the type of employee that you have sitting in front of you. The first thing that you need to know about Chris is that he's a relationships person. And after 25 years working in this department in this town, he has built a lot of very good, trusting relationships. And this is a testament to how much he cares about his job and the people he works with on the flats. I can't think of a better compliment for a person in his position of oversight. He also cares about his colleagues. He's always the first one to take initiative on a project. He's the one who spearheads taking care of our trucks and our equipment. And he's indispensable in reasoning things out when we get together as a team. He's also pretty damn funny, and he's always able to get a laugh out of us, which really helps in the course of the day. He has, under my tenure, he's taken on boat patrol and as one of his primary responsibilities, and he has elevated our presence on the water and built really good relationships with our dragger captains and crew. Chris is a thinker first, and there's that saying that says, don't just stand there, do something. But my dad always used to say, don't just do something, stand there. Think it through first. And that is Chris. He thinks first and acts after. He's seen it all over these last 25 years and offers sage advice from that deep experience and those strong relationships. The bottom line is that Chris's experience, his relationships, and his thoughtfulness make him a valuable asset to the town. And as a colleague, I count myself very fortunate to work alongside him. I respectfully ask that you reappoint Deputy Shellfish Constable Chris Manula for 3 more years. I would not be the constable I am today without his support and guidance through these last 8 years.
Well, there you go.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nancy. And I don't know if there's any discussion on the board. None from me.
No, just feel,
I'm ready for a motion then.
Mr. Chair, I move to reappoint Chris Manula as Deputy Shellfish Constable for the town of Wellfleet, continuing until October 30th, 2028, and also to congratulate him on 25 years of service.
okay, we second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote.
Ryan, I.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
Is Barbara joining online?
Yep, let me see if I can get her unmuted.
Barbara, aye.
There you go.
There we go. And John, aye. Passes 5-0. And
3 years.
I'll add that for those who don't know, Chris is also a fantastic musician
Yeah, I was going to say something.
that I've had the pleasure of working with from time to time in that capacity.
There's other things too. Lots
Does
of,
Chris have anything?
it's been an honor and a blessing to work in this town and with this beautiful this industry. I've seen a lot of people grow. I love how the fishermen fight for the right, but there's also a way of finding communication to find the problem. Also, I want to thank the police and the fire department today. There was a person stuck in the mud in Shipman's Cove, so there was a rescue. So you never know what you're going to deal with. So thanks to them. But yeah, it's just been, and every day has been a blessing. You never know what you're going to walk into. And I look forward to the next 3 years.
Okay.
We'll see if you vote me in again.
All right.
All right.
All right.
We will. Keep it up.
All right, I'll do my
Good
best.
work.
Thank you all.
Thank you for your service, Chris. All right. Moving on to the, make sure I'm not getting ahead of
No,
myself.
we got the loan first.
Oh, yeah, yep, loan acceptance. This item is to approve the interim loan note and bond to be issued to the Massachusetts Clean Water Trust. Tom, do you want to speak to that?
Jack is on.
Who do we have?
We have Jared, the town treasurer, is on, and Lynn Welch, our representative from, Lynn Welch is not here.
Nope, Amanda Cavalier.
Okay, Amanda Cavalier from Unibank.
Oh, okay, I guess,
Jared, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
yes, we
sir.
can.
Oh, good. Yes, so tonight we're looking for a vote on an interim loan note for the 95 Lawrence project. The funding for this or the approval for this borrowing was approved at 2 town meetings, June of 2021 for 1.93 million. And then September of 2023, special town meeting for 2.66 million. While the loan is interim, there's no fees and no interest. It's a way that we can continue to fund the project. And in addition to the vote tonight, there is paperwork with the town clerk to sign tomorrow. And if you have questions about the project, you guys are probably more familiar with it than I am, but we do have the engineering firm. That's where Amanda Cavalier works, just in case.
With Fuss and O'Neill.
Okay.
With Fuss and O'Neill, exactly. Yep.
Okay, are there any questions from any?
No, but after we take a vote, I do have to read a rather lengthy attestation, so just a heads up on that.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
I imagine Tom's talked to each of us individually about the wastewater at Lawrence Hill, but there's a lot of public discourse about it. And I was wondering if you could just take this opportunity now to kind of explain the status of it and the interim period and what that consists of.
Sure, and if I make any errors, Amanda's there to be able to
As is Wes.
as is Wes. Okay, good.
Will do.
I'm covered. I'm good. We're at the point now where the ball field is back in. The leaching areas, the redundant leaching areas have been put in under the ball field, and that is completed. we are in a position now to start operations in February or March, utilizing a tight tank for short-term septic haulage, which is in the budget. It's already within the budget. It was expected, with full operation to be starting sometime after that. Next week, on Monday, just as an update, I'm meeting with folks from Fuss and O'Neill on the turnover of the plant, what we need to do to get bidding, what's the preliminary number we need to get going for the first year, because it'll be funded, but there's no rate revenue right away, so we have to do those types of things. The plant is on time. Robert Auer has been very attentive to making sure that this gets done quickly, knowing the pressure of getting the residents into the apartments and getting that opened. So we're in pretty good shape right now. And Amanda, if there's anything I've missed, if you want to add?
No, I think you've covered it very well. They're at about 50% complete right now. So they're just getting the foundation poured for the building. All the tanks below ground are in, and they're right on track. We've been meeting every 2 weeks just to make sure that the project stays on track.
Josh?
Mr. Town Administrator, if you will, at some point there seemed to have been a suggestion or a rumor that a dye test was performed and failed. But my understanding is not only did that not occur, it will never occur because it's unnecessary. But can you just put that to bed for us?
Yeah, I did, after that came up, I did check in with Dave Formato at Fuss and O'Neill, and they have done no dye tests. There's been no dye test run through there.
Thank you. Just another reminder that what you read on Facebook isn't always true.
It's evil.
I refer you back to the 1961 town report, annual report, where it said the exact same thing, but it replaced bar with Facebook. So something's just haven't changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. So, are we ready for?
Yeah, I would recommend that this be voted, and Mr. Chairman, the clerk does have to read the entire attestation.
Yes, so we will now have that.
We have to vote first, sir.
Vote first? Okay. In that case, I'll take a motion.
I move to approve the interim loan note and bond to be issued to the Mass Clean Water Trust for the wastewater treatment facility project in the amount not to exceed $4,600,000, and the full language is in the packet.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
Barbara, I.
And John, aye.
Barbara, I.
Yeah, we got you.
Did you get me?
Thanks.
Yes.
Okay.
It passes 5-0. And go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
And I do apologize, this is rather long, so settle in and pick up your phones. I, the clerk of the Select Board of the Town of Wellfleet, Massachusetts, certify that at a meeting of the board held December 16th, 2025, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified, at which a quorum was present, the following vote was passed, all of which appears upon the official record of the board in my custody. Voted. 1, that the town shall issue a bond or bonds in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $4,600,000, the bonds, pursuant to Chapters 29C and 44 of the general laws and votes of the town adopted on June 26, 2021, in the amount of $1,931,866, Article 21, and June 30th, 2021, ballot question 11, and on September 18th, 2023, in the amount of $2,668,114, Article 2, and September 27th, 2023, ballot question 1, for the planning of construction of sewers and/or other water pollution control abatement infrastructure, referred to as the project. 2, that the terms of the financing agreement between the town and the Massachusetts Clean Water Trust, the trust, and the financing agreement, and the project regulatory agreement between the town and the Department of Environmental Protection of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, referred to as DEP, also referred to as the project regulatory agreement, each relating to the notes and the bonds are hereby approved. 3, that in anticipation of the issuance of the bonds, the treasurer is authorized to issue an interim loan note or notes, referred to as the notes, from time to time in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $4,600,000. 4, that each bond or note shall be issued as a single registered security and sold to the trust at a price determined pursuant to the financing agreement. 5, that the treasurer is authorized to determine the date, the form, the maximum interest rate, and the principal maturities of each bond and note, and to execute a financing agreement with the trust with respect to the sale of the bonds and notes, such date, form, and maturities, and the specific interest rate or rates of the bonds and notes to be approved by a majority of the Select Board and the treasurer, and evidenced by their execution of the bonds and notes. 6, that any certificates or documents relating to each bond and notes, collectively referred to as documents, may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original and all which shall constitute one and the same document. Delivery of an executed counterpart of a signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or by other electronic transmission shall be as effective as delivery of a manually executed counterpart signature page to such document, and electronic signatures of any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purpose of the documents and all matters relating thereto, having the same legal effect as original signatures. 7, that all actions to date by the town and its officers and agents to carry out the project and its financing, including the execution of any loan, commitment, or agreement by the treasurer, are hereby ratified, approved, and confirmed. And 8, that the treasurer and the other appropriate town officials are each hereby authorized to take any and all actions necessary or convenient to carry out the provisions of this vote, including execution and delivery of the financing agreement and project regulatory agreement relating to the project. I further certify that the vote was adopted at a meeting open to the public, that no vote was taken by secret ballot, the notice stating that place, date, time, and agenda of the meeting, which agenda included the adoption of the above vote, was filed with the town clerk, and a copy thereof posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours in or on the municipal building that the office of the town clerk is located, or, if applicable, in accordance with an alternative method of notice prescribed and approved by the Attorney General as set forth in 940 CMR 29.03 2B, at least 48 hours, not including Saturdays and Sundays, and legal holidays, prior to the time of the meeting, and remain so posted at the time of the meeting, that no deliberations or decisions in connection with the sale of the bonds or notes were taken in executive session, and that the official record of the meeting was made available to the public promptly and remains available to the public, all in accordance with General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 18-25, as amended. I further certify that the vote has not been amended, supplemented, or revoked, and remains in effect on this date. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you guys very much. It's just a friendly reminder, if Mr. Yeston and 2 others can sign paperwork tomorrow, that would be great.
It's in the clerk's office downstairs on the first floor.
All right, I'll stop in.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you, Jared. Thank you.
That reminds me,
you.
Mr. Town Administrator, do we, regarding the Shellfish appointment, there was a signature page attached to that.
There was.
Yeah.
There was.
I meant to mention it at the time, but it's,
I think we're all going to town hall tomorrow.
Yeah.
it's, this is something that goes to the Director of the Division of Marine Fisheries.
Yeah, come on in tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll have it there, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that takes care of that. Moving on to the consent agenda. Before I read all the items on that, does anyone on the board wish to take anything out of there?
No.
This is all a routine renewal of year-round alcohol licenses. Starting at the top, to Baps Taps LLC, doing business as the Block and Tackle. The Bookstore and Restaurant, Blackfish Creek Incorporated, doing business as Seaside Liquors. KB Kitchens Incorporated, doing business as Seashore. MJT Enterprises Incorporated, doing business as Blackfish Variety. Savure DuPont Incorporated, doing business as PB Boulangerie Bistro. Salibi Enterprises Incorporated, doing business as Wellfleet Mobile. Fitzgerald Hill LLC, doing business as the Copper Swan. Wellfleet Preservation Hall, Wellfleet Spirits Shop Incorporated, doing business as Wellfleet Spirits Shop. The Wicked Oyster Incorporated, doing business as the Wicked Oyster. Ekdanta Package Corp., doing business as Wellfleet Wine and Spirits. The Wellfleet Harbor Actors Theater, Route 6, doing business as Wellfleet Harbor Actors Theater. And lastly, the Wellfleet Marketplace Incorporated, doing business as Wellfleet Marketplace.
Second.
No, I need a,
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the aforementioned businesses with no objections. as presented.
well, the consent agenda. You know, it's all the consent agenda.
Right. I second.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 5-0. Now, a public hearing. This is the continued hearing for the rental registration policy and fees from December 2nd, 2025. And I am going to recuse, as I did last week, and turn the meeting over to my vice chair.
John? Tom? Oh, to my vice chair, yes. Are we are taking a vote?
Not yet.
Just for full disclosure, the reason I'm recusing is because I do own a small cabin on my property, which I do let out through as a short-term rental, so.
Okay, thank you.
Just as a opener,
Yes, please.
this is, the board is aware, this is a follow-up from an initial meeting we had a couple of weeks ago. And tonight, we're here to discuss the establishment of a rental registry and set a fee structure. Once and if the Select Board votes affirmatively to establish the registry and fee structure, a set of final regulations will be promulgated after the board hears from the people this evening. I'm going to assume the board will take in comments from the public, take them into consideration, give us marching orders and put them back in, to incorporate them into whatever comes forward. While administration has been working with council on a bylaw and code, it cannot be finalized without the hearing and listening to the people here this evening and online. It should be understood that the establishment of this program is a requirement of law. It is an unfunded mandate that political subdivisions are required to create, sustain, along with an inspectional system and working registry. The town has looked to bring the system in at minimal cost while being able to meet the requirements of the statute. Tonight, the Select Board, in addition to the fee-setting discussion and possible action, will establish the registry. The board tonight will take comments from the public and the serious concerns that have been written to us and expressed to us over the phone over the last couple of weeks. The policy, I imagine, will not be voted this evening, as I stated earlier. I think we have to hear, Ann and I have to listen to what the board tells us, and then we've got to remassage if it's necessary to remassage and bring it back for a final vote of the board for the registry policy. So, Mr. Chairman, or Madam Chair, excuse me, the board has received my breakdown of the fee structure. As Ann and I talked together, I met and discussed the fee with some of my colleagues that are going through the same thing. But at the end of the day, we had to figure it out for ourselves and what the costs were going to be and how we were going to bring this forward and bring it up. Most of what is here is our best estimate on costs. I note that relative to a manager or a share admin support, we have numbers plugged in there. But we're currently starting collective bargaining, so these are guesstimates at best. The benefit cost we have established at about 40%, given the increase of 16% on Blue Cross and 8 to 12% on Harvard Pilgrim and Tufts going forward for the year. Then there's Ann's oversight of this project, accounting, treasury, and collection. And then minimal executive staff oversight, very small oversight by John and I as necessary. The non-personnel, and that totals, just so people know, that totals roughly about $226,000. The non-human resource related costs are mostly licensure and software. The total amount of that is $38,445. It's broken down into we have to buy a computer or a laptop for this person, a printer of some sort. The licensing for both, I don't have extra licenses right now. We did check that. On Microsoft, Adobe, and what we call the scraping software, scraping and reporting software, which is the largest cost. That's an annualized cost. The licenses are annualized costs, and we estimate that right now based on what other communities are paying. With larger and smaller, we're kind of trying to make that adjustment. That amount we estimate in total at $26,500. There's a phone account. There will be minor furnishings, used furnishings. We don't buy new furnishings if we need them. We hope to be able to have some in other offices that we can spread around. There'll be some travel mileage because there's not a vehicle, municipal vehicle for this. Training and seminars, dues and publications, a little bit for unanticipated expense. Total non-salary, non-human resource at $38,445. That gives us a fee based on $900. We used $900 as our baseline. We got $955 from the state. It's a little massaging on that, with about 200 of those 900 being owner-occupied seasonal short-term rentals. The first year, everybody's got to register. Everybody's going to go through the inspection. Re-inspections, we do have a fee if the inspector comes and some things need to be done and they have to come back. There's a $75 re-inspection fee. If you're not home or nobody answers the door when there was a signed inspection, there is an additional, there's that $75 re-inspection fee. Those that don't register at all and are scofflawing, if you will, once this is established, and again, we don't have a choice, this is by statute, by state statute that we have to do this. We propose a fine of double the annual fee. So it'd be about $840. There were a lot of different ways to do it. Some towns do it on a per day, and they just double it, and then at the end you end up negotiating it down. Or we could do it this way, which is a substantial penalty without having to do a day by day tracking. The other thing that we are recommending is that the owner-occupied units, it varies across the towns on what people are doing. Some are doing them every year, some aren't doing them at all, some are doing them every 5 years, and we are recommending a 3-year cycle on the owner-occupied systems.
Okay. So is that
I am recommending a fee of $420.
$420, okay.
With a
With that-
$75 reissuance and a 2 times the permit penalty for non-registration.
I have a number of questions when we get to it, Madam Chair.
Okay, okay, we're bringing Ann up. Come on up here, Ann, just in case we need help here. So, Tom, remind me again, we're not voting on a regulation, we're voting on implementing the program, and are we looking at these fees tonight, or we're going to establish?
Yes, no, you need to,
We're gonna-
I hope that you can establish a fee tonight, be it this or something different after you listen to folks.
Okay.
The two things you should do tonight is establish the registry, simple
Right.
as that,
Right,
and set the fee. Listen to the folks on what folks are going to say.
challenges
and
there
then we
may
can-
be, right.
You have a draft policy before you, and that's going to need to be massaged after we hear from folks tonight.
Okay. What I would like to do first, I think, is to open it up to the public, and then some of those.
Madam Chair, respectfully, there's some differences from when we last reviewed this. I think it would be best if the board initially had some discussion amongst itself before the public.
Okay,
So.
go, if you have things you need to clear up, go right ahead. You may begin.
So the previous, 2 weeks ago, the consensus of the board was to have a graduated fee and a differentiation between primary owner occupancies and those that were not. I'm wondering as to the rationale for the change to a flat fee and no differentiation between the two classes.
Well, we did differentiate between the classes in as much as we're not requiring an annual inspection of the owner occupied.
But the fee is inclusive of the inspection, and so there is no differentiation for the payment of services that are being provided, even though for the primary owner occupancies, they're being, utilizing the services less frequently.
That is a point to be discussed. We felt that a $400 fee, which is kind of similar to what's around the area.
So, I mean, what I really don't understand is where there was a clear direction from the board as to the fee structure that the board was inclined for, and the rationale for the change, and also that there's not a differentiation between the classes.
Well, is it a matter of,
I mean, the board told them what we wanted, and this is not it.
well, I think that we had a consensus that we were interested in going by the bedrooms. However, since then, I do know that I've had some conversations with Ann and others, and that's going to be a complicated process for right now, is in separating out that billing. It would add another component of labor to the exercise, and this is our first time implementing it. These things can be changed in the future if we decide that we want to, go further, but I think that as we're first stepping into this, this is my own opinion, and I'm just answering my change of mind on this, or willingness to go this way, that we can pick that up as we review how we're doing in the collections and in fairness of the whole thing. But right now, it's going to be our first year, and we don't want to screw it up. So if we could make it.
If staff had been collecting opinions outside of board
No
meetings.
no, this just happened to be a meeting we ran into each other in the hallway, and it came up, and I thought about it. She was just saying what happened in other towns. She didn't tell me what she thought or what, but I thought about it in thinking about the differences and how different towns were doing it. And I would be willing to go with a flat fee as we first start.
So that respectfully should be a decision of the board.
That is, I'm not
And-
saying that it's decided. I'm giving you my opinion.
Where the board had provided clear instructions on what our expectations were, that they were not followed. And I always have an issue with that, particularly when it was very recently. And we continued the hearing to have the regulations updated to reflect the board's input that we provided that night. So I do not understand why now it's been changed to a flat fee in spite of that direction that was given by the board.
Ann, would you like to
Sure.
address
So
this?
the last meeting, you did bring that up. Josh talked a little bit about it. Barbara mentioned the flat fee, that she was in favor of that. Sheila was like, I'm okay, let's look at both. So we did. it is more complex to start a fee structure that has each bedroom at a different price point, because we're trying to get a number that, we're not trying to generate revenue, we're trying to cover the fee structure. So, and cover the expense. When we were talking about all the different bedrooms, the frame of mind and conversation was about revenue generation, not covering the fee.
If I can go back to the minutes.
But it's also because the larger a house is, the more it takes to actually do the physical inspection of the house. So if the fee is inclusive of an inspection, you know, a 5 or 6 bedroom house is going to take significantly longer time than a 1 or 2 bedroom. And so, you know, that was, you know, part of our rationale 2 weeks ago.
I agree with you on that point, that a larger house will take longer to inspect. But right now, the building code, we have a very basic inspection we have to do, which is fire alarm, carbon monoxide, 2 means of egress, and if you have a swimming pool, a fence around it. If we then, at a later date, decide to do a full health safety, that, I think, would be a time to look at the higher expense for inspections, because that's a much more intensive inspection process than what we're trying to do right now, which is just to get the rental registry, get the inspections done for our first year. A lot of towns do, when they put this first registry in, is they put in we will review the fee structure and this policy in 2 or 3 years, which we could do as well. But again, it's up to the board unanimously to decide what they want to do.
Madam Vice
Right,
Chair?
yes, Mr. Yester?
Yeah, I mean, a couple weeks ago, I thought it was an idea to do a per bedroom fee.
Right.
I think what I'm hearing and what I very much agree with is that adds a tremendous amount of complexity to administering the registration. And we have very few resources to administer this, right? We don't have big teams of individuals. We have individuals. I don't think it's unreasonable to do a flat fee. I do think, however, that we should have a registration fee and an inspection fee that are independent of each other, so that owner-occupants don't have to pay a registration fee every year that is inclusive of an inspection they're not receiving. So I would be in favor of having a registration fee and an inspection fee. Switching gears a little bit, and I don't mean to put the town administrator and the housing coordinator on the spot, but I'm trying to just do the math here. If our total costs are assumed to be $264,505, we assume there are about 900 rentals, I'm getting $293.89. So I'm trying to understand where the extra $120 is coming from.
Yeah, let me just explain that.
Thank you.
I just have to get my other page out.
Okay.
Yeah, Madam Chair?
Yes, Barbara, I'm
Thank-
sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just while town administrator is finding that, I mean, I think it's really good to have this breakout of the costs for staffing and so on, but I just want everyone to keep in mind that the impacts of short-term rentals go beyond staffing the registration system. They go to police and fire and DPW for those intensive months when we have tens of thousands of guests here. So I don't think we should draw an equivalency between, you know, the bottom line here and the registration, what we collect in fees, because this does not reflect the full costs and impacts to the town of the rental registration, of the short-term rental practices here. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom?
Yeah, I'm
Ready?
okay.
Okay.
And then,
Well,
there's other items that I'd like to bring up. One is the change from the requirement of basically what's required under the state building code, which is primary owner occupancy residents are inspected every 5 years. Why instead that we're looking at every 3?
I'll just speak to that. A lot of towns have chosen to do 3 instead of 5. I don't know if that's in line with just fire, carbon monoxide, and that technology and what the towns are doing, but we're open to either.
I'd be more comfortable with 5 just in terms of the amount of workload that's involved. Basically, most of the towns had pre-existing registry programs that existed before the building code update. And the building code update has, a series of requirements in it that do not necessarily conform to how towns were operating prior to the building code update. So I would just want to follow that. And then I have some individual areas of the actual regulations that I'd like to discuss as well.
Mr. Curley, if we could just go back to the first, we did ask our administrator to find the answers to our first go
Yeah,
around
the
on this.
reason,
And
it was 293 based on 900. Years, after the first year, it's going to be 700, and we have to make up, because now it looks like it'll be every 3 or every 5 years we do the owner occupied. So you got to build in the number into the numbers you're going to have to work with. And other than the first year, and I don't expect we're going to have a robust compliance immediately, that we needed to put in enough that we were going to be sure to cover ourselves the first year.
If I may.
Yes.
Madam Chair. Even an owner-occupied short-term rental would still have to register every year. They might not have to have an inspection every year. But, so I'm not understanding the math there. I also, my understanding is that we have to assume 100% compliance, which is an unfortunate truth, but that's at least my understanding.
You have to,
I don't know any town that got 100% compliance their first year.
Okay. So, I mean, with that being said, if we go on total costs, we take 900. I think 300 is a more reasonable registration fee, and then if we think that
Then
the
a
cost.
separate inspection fee.
Correct, and if we believe that the average cost of an inspection is going to be $75, then there'll be a $75 inspection fee. So that if you're an owner occupied, you're paying 300.
Everyone's paying it the first year.
Correct. So,
Yeah.
and then, but on off-cycle years, they'll be paying 300, not 375, whereas non-owner occupied will be paying 375. At least that's where my head's at. Although if I'm not seeing full cost, as my colleague suggested, then we should move that number up.
yeah, Tom?
if I could, Josh, just to follow up with that. The $300 makes some sense. The $75 on the reinspection, the reinspection generally will be quicker, because if you go in, you're going to say, okay, you're missing this and this, or you need to add this and this. Everything else is fine. So when they go back in, they're just going to look for this and this.
So then, as a follow-up, how much do we feel would be the average cost of the first inspection?
100 is a common,
120.
it's a common number of other towns who line item it out. But then I go back to Mr. Curley's comment where he thinks should the inspection fees be tiered based on size of the property in terms of bedrooms?
Yeah, I know some properties are technically one dwelling unit. This is particularly true for some of the modern house ones, but there's basically 3 or 4 separate buildings that are not necessarily conjoined with each other. They're separated by, walkways and breezeways and whatever else. Some of them are really weird. They'll have one building has just the living room and the kitchen, and then a bedroom in another building and another one elsewhere.
But that's not the rule. That's not your,
So,
yeah, Josh.
to put us back on track, we're just establishing a baseline fee. If we think that it's $100 for the first, then I think a $400 fee is reasonable. If Mr. Guarino said that it's $120, then we're back at $420, and his math makes sense. I'm not trying to challenge the math. I'm trying to make sure that we and the public are comfortable.
Yeah, the one thing we were trying not to do was add any incentive to this fee. You can't.
Certainly.
Okay, we've done our best guesstimate based on collective bargaining, based on the costs that we know we're gonna have, and then anticipated activity on what we expect to have happen, and with discussions with other communities on how it works with them.
So,
Barbara?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Josh, did you have one other follow-up?
I did, and it very, very quickly. I think the board should reserve the right of what the penalty is of non-compliance until we flesh out the regs.
We just put something in there for you to work with. that's
Absolutely,
all.
but just sharing my opinion with the rest of the board, I think we should establish the registration, we should establish the baseline fee. In my opinion, we should have a separate inspection fee, and so that those that are owner occupied don't pay that on off-cycle
Each
years.
time.
And we should reserve the right to assess penalties in a regulation that will be drafted next month.
Barbara?
Thank you, Madam Chair. A recommended fee of $420, I think, is quite reasonable considering the costs. And again, not just the numbers that the administrator has provided us with, but again, the other costs to the town from the impacts of short-term rentals. I think we should just decide whether we think this is reasonable or not, then talk about inspection fees, or maybe then go to the public, and then talk again about inspection fees later. But I really think we just need to decide whether this is a reasonable fee. And I'll say that Turo's short-term rental registration fee has been $450 for a couple years, and that was before the inspections were mandated. So we are well within the ballpark. I would say that the expenses are comparable. They're probably greater in Wellfleet than they are in Truro. So I'd like us to talk about that maybe after the
Okay,
public.
and
Thank
Tom?
Yeah, if we take a $65 an hour rate for the professional, okay, thereabouts, or $45, and you add $37 or 40% benefit on it, you're at $102 before you even start talking the other stuff.
So I think, having a separate fee for inspections is going to be more equitable, because otherwise, if the fee is inclusive of inspection, basically, those that are primary owner occupants that are subject to it are actually subsidizing those that are having to have the annual inspections. And that's just not really the best way to do it, because, they're receiving less service from the town. But then some of these other requirements, I'm not really so sure on as well. The maximum overnight occupancy, for one, is set by bedroom at 2 per bedroom, where the state sanitary code is based off of the square footage of a bedroom. So if somebody has, let's say, 2 bunk beds for 4 children that are visiting, that wouldn't be permissible under this here.
Wait a minute, are we going into regulation?
It's all regulation.
I understand, but we're not voting on those regs right now. We're voting on a fee.
Yeah,
Yes,
but tonight
so-
is the fee in the registry.
Right.
Establishing.
We're going to
The
vote
reg
that
will
we're
come
going
after
to,
the
we're going to
public
vote that we're going to do this registry, and tonight we're going to establish a fee. Our next meeting is going to be regulatory, because we're going to take a lot of feedback here and think about what obstacles have already been encountered. Barbara?
Right, so Madam Chair, could I suggest perhaps we take some comment from the public?
Yes, I would like to do that at this
On the
point.
fee, with this with the recommendation of Housing Coordinator and Town Administrator of $420, just as a baseline, and maybe get some comment from the public on that, and perhaps the inspection fees as well, but I think we need to focus on this for now, and then perhaps
agree.
do the inspection fees later.
With that, I'm going to open it up to the public. Anybody who would like to make a public comment, please come to the mic, introduce yourself, name and address, and let us know what you're thinking.
Hi, I'm Brent Shimke. I'm a full-time resident here on Springline Road. I'm I'm not a lawyer. I don't have any expertise in this area, but I do want to give one empirical data point. I have a short-term rental in Berkshire County on the other side of the state. Similar sized town. Richmond is a little bit smaller than Wellfleet, but similar sized town. And also destination location year-round, not just summertime. Their fee is $75 a year. I don't know how they came up with it. Just a data point for you to consider. And we did not have to go through an inspection. They just implemented theirs this year. Their inspection process is as requested by the renters. They didn't feel that it was mandatory. Again, I don't know if the law has changed since they implemented it earlier this year, but those are just two data points I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that has public comment?
Good evening. I'm Jeff Compricos. I'm a year-round resident here in town. My comments really go to, I'm thinking about working middle-class families vacationing here in Wellfleet. And I appreciate tonight the sense that I think the board, town administrator, you're trying to find or limit the fees to the homeowners, which of course are going to be passed along to the renters. We've been renting to families here in town for some years, about 5 or 6 weeks per year. We also, by the way, have 2 units in town that we've been renting below market, at below market rates for many years to year-round families. I think, I understand that once again, we're kind of boxed in here by Beacon Hill, so an edict has come down and we have to comply with that. But when you start to add it up, there was the occupancy tax that went into effect a few years ago. I believe that's around 14–15% that's been added on, costs to families vacationing here in Wellfleet. And there are a lot of other fees, there's, of course, beach parking and restaurant taxes, if you want to get a shellfish license. It starts to add up. I understand from some realtors in town there was actually a softening this past summer. This will all get passed along. We pass along these costs to the folks vacationing here. But I just hope that we're all very mindful that I like the idea that people have been coming to Wellfleet to vacation for generations, mainly working families, middle-class families. And I want to make sure that what we do, we're not pricing those families out. The wealthy will always enjoy Wellfleet. But I just hope we're mindful of keeping down these fees, these levels, these levies, these taxes. We're not nickel and diming people. We're pricing the middle class, working class out of a decent vacation here in Wellfleet. Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you, Jeff. And then you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ricky Lacey. I'm a full-time resident in Wellfleet. I do have a house that I use for short-term rentals, separate from mine. I have 2 questions. One is, I'm not sure the difference, why there's a different inspection for owner-occupied short-term rentals versus ones that aren't. I may have missed that in earlier discussions. But the other is the question about use of town services. We've been having these visitors for years and years and years, and we haven't charged them for police and fire and stuff like that. So I assume we're covering costs for our municipal workers. So looking at fees, I think it's fair, as Josh was talking about, to look at what it really is going to cost us. And will it cost us a huge amount in the beginning, but once people are registered, how much is it going to cost us year after there? So those are my 2 comments. Thank you.
The latter part I can answer better than the first part. I expect, even though Ann had indicated 3 years, I expect that after the first 18 months, we should have a pretty good idea of what the cycle is. And at that point in time, we're gonna have to come back and review. And if they need to come down, they'll come down. If they need to go up, they'll go up, based on whatever the board decides to do, of course. I don't want to make that kind of judgment without it. But this is what we figure it's going to take to start it up. And to get to Jeff's comments, we get it. But the alternative is to have everybody pay for something that only a few people, relatively, are taking advantage. Same with shellfish permits, same with, we don't, if you use it, you pay for it, type of thing. And I get what you're saying. The price of going on vacations doubled in the last 7 years. Okay, just from a family perspective. But we've been told we have to do this. I was asked to put something together. The board's going to make adjustments to that, and that's what's expected that they would do. But the best I could come up with was $420. The way I was looking at it, we can pull it apart and do other things with it.
And the other thing I'll say, Ricky, the inspections, what we were talking about, so if it's the same inspection, it's just if you're a year-round resident that rents their home, you don't have to have your house inspected every single year, versus if you're not, you do have to have it inspected every single year. That's the difference.
Yeah, but the registration fee is.
To be determined.
Right.
So just to offer a baseline for the board to discuss.
Yeah,
We can,
okay.
I would offer a suggestion that we establish a registration fee at $300, an inspection fee of $100, and a re-inspection fee of $75. How does the rest of the board feel?
So through the chair.
Okay, yes.
Through the chair, we have a baseline recommended, which is $420 by the town administrator, so I would consider that the baseline.
Let's finish up with public comments first.
Yes, please.
Hi, thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Matt Rosenberg. I'm on Spring Valley Road here in Wellfleet. I have a lot of pieces of paper in my hand. I'm not going to read them all. These are handouts for you, so you have these afterwards. I just have a short statement. And I want to begin by affirming something that's really important. The state has mandated short-term rental registration for exactly one purpose, and that purpose is safety. Section 101.3 of the Massachusetts Building Code, 780 CMR, as you're all aware, is very explicit that its purpose is to safeguard public health and safety through structural integrity, means of egress, and fire protection. And that is the framework that this ordinance should be operating within. I don't have something specific to say about fees. You've already got some lengthy emails from me that deal with that. But I also want to say clearly that people who rent homes for a week in Wellfleet, and this is really, really much more about the regulations that I know you're going to go back and review. People who rent homes for a week in Wellfleet are not a different class of citizen than the people who live here. They deserve to have the same rights, the same responsibilities as the people who live here year-round. And those are to be free of intrusion, to be able to socialize in the homes that they rent, to live normally during their stay. Regulations should absolutely ensure safety, but not create a separate and more restricted set of rights for visitors. So with that framework in mind, I'm asking the board to provide specific direction to the administrator, to the housing coordinator, and to town council as to the final regulations that are drafted. And I have 4 principles that I want to suggest. The first, enforcement mechanisms should be clear and limited to safety. The only required on-site inspection should be the one necessary for certification, and if necessary, re-inspection. I certainly understand that. But beyond that, enforcement should not authorize inspectors to enter properties during rentals, to make presumptive determinations about how a property will or may be occupied, or otherwise exceed the safety requirements set forth in the state mandate or building code, whichever applies. The scope and limitations of the inspection should be clearly spelled out in the regulations. Second, all enforcement actions must include due process. The current draft does not speak to that. Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 13, establishes that no agency shall revoke or refuse to renew any permit without first affording the holder the opportunity for a hearing. And even where that statute doesn't directly bind municipalities, the constitutional principle remains that permit holders are entitled to notice, the opportunity to dispute facts, and the right to appeal. No ministerial action should strip someone of their permit and therefore their income without recourse. Third, owners should only be held responsible for what an owner can realistically control, which is almost entirely limited to the safety of the rental property. Despite contracts and house rules, owners have no practical way to monitor guest behavior, no legal authority to physically intervene, no power to evict. Penalties for noise, occupancy violations, or guest misconduct should fall on the actual violators, not on owners who would shut it down if we could. Related to this is the requirement for a local contact person. There's no situation in which resolution of a safety issue, or any issue, requires the physical presence of an owner or their agent. Any remediation is done by tradespeople who are a phone call away from the owner no matter where the owner is. Fourth, and finally, no enforcement action should by itself put owners at legal risk with their tenants. Revoking or suspending a permit mid-season for anything less than health-threatening issues like septic failure would leave an owner unable to honor existing lease obligations, and that potentially exposes owners to breach of contract claims. The ordinance should not create that trap. These, I must say, are not requests to weaken the ordinance. They're requests to make it fair, workable, and legally sound. Everyone's goal is safety. Owners' goal no less than the town's goal. So I ask you to keep the regulations squarely within the framework of safety. Thank you. May I pass these?
Sure. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Rosenberg.
for doing that. Thank you. That's quite all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted those notes.
Yeah, I know. Is there anyone else, thank you for those comments. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this? If there's nobody else that hasn't spoken, Jeff?
Is anyone online?
Oh, is there somebody online? All right, let me take these first, and then we'll come back to you, Jeff. Who is there?
Melissa,
Y-E-A-W.
Y-E-A-W.
Y-E-A-W. Melissa, you. Yeah.
Good, unmuted.
No, you're not, you're all set.
No, you're here.
Great, hi, thank you for listening to me. And thank you for the last speaker, that was wonderful information. My name is Melissa Yaw, and I'm a real estate agent in Wellfleet and have been doing it for about 5 years now. I inherited a portfolio of houses that have been renting in Wellfleet for years. Most of my homeowners can't afford to keep their houses if they don't rent it. They're not making a lot of money. And that's just something I want to state about them. Turo's fee was $250 the year before last. They just went up to $450. So I think that the $450 is a new thing that they're doing. I don't know what other people are doing, but this is going to be a whole new fee for all of my homeowners. The other concern that I have is that if we don't have this in place soon, and I have to let all my homeowners know, follow through and do all of that, if we don't get it in place soon, they're not going to be able to do it. So I do want to encourage everyone to kind of make the decisions sooner rather than later about exactly what's going to be required. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Is there anyone else online?
Amy Nickerson.
Amy Nickerson?
Yes, hi, thanks for taking my call, and I appreciate what has been said from the other public comments. We have property on Chequasit Neck Road across from Powers Landing, and I have just a couple of thoughts that I wanted to bring forth. One is that if I understand the proposal correctly, I'm concerned about the invasion of privacy with the requirement that occupants of each bedroom has to be identified. I don't know what purpose that would serve the town to know that information. So I'd like to have some consideration given to that question. And I also really agree with the idea of having a flat fee. It's a little bit, it seems to me it will be really confusing to base it on the number of bedrooms. And again, a flat fee just seems simpler and cleaner, especially as you get started with the process. So I guess I'd like to go on record as just saying that I oppose the requirement that the information about who is in which bedroom be ignored, eliminated. Thank you.
Yeah, that has been stricken.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Right, it's impossible. Wait a minute, just, there's somebody, Mike?
Yep, there's two others online, Helen, before you.
Okay. Mike, do we have a last name? No?
Yes, hi, I'm sorry. My last name is Vele, V-E-L-E. I own a property in Indian Neck, and I'm a new owner of a small two-bedroom cottage. And I have to say, I think the flat fee is not equitable. And if I'm not going to generate much income from this property, if you look at somebody who's renting a four-bedroom house as opposed to a small two-bedroom cottage or a one-bedroom cottage, it's I think a tier-based graduated fee system is probably the way to go. But that's I understand you're trying to launch this, but again, that's just my contribution. But thank you all for all the work that you're doing regarding this. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
And there's a woman named Eileen.
And Eileen? And could you give us your last name, Eileen?
Hi, I'm actually here with my husband, David. I'm Eileen Hickey and David Gavalik.
Okay.
Hi, I think David's speak.
So I'd like to begin by thanking Mr. Rosenberg for the points that he raised. Eileen and I submitted a letter raising some questions and concerns to the Select Board. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at that. I think all of the issues and concerns and questions that we raised were covered by the 4 principles that Matt laid out very nicely. So I think if we can develop a set of procedures and policies and regulations that honor those fundamental principles, I would be very happy. I think that would be fair and a clear way to implement the task before us. So thank you, Mr. Rosenberg, for laying that out.
Okay, and thank you. Could I have your name again? Eileen, I got Eileen Dickey, but. Hickey.
David Gavalik.
Okay, thank you.
Got
It's
it.
already been gotten. All right.
Sorry.
Got it.
All set, Eileen, thank you.
We have it, Eileen, thank you. All right, Helen.
Helen Miranda Wilson, and through you, Madam Chair, I have a question for Rebecca. So, no, it's okay, it's easy. So in the minutes, normally when, at the bottom of the minutes, for any committee, there's a list of the documents. Now, we have a very good recording of the man in the blue flannel shirt, whose name is Mr.
Rosenberg.
Rosenberg. I'm very bad on names. I'm eager to read that.
It will be in the minutes on the record and is currently listed as a public document at the bottom of these minutes.
Thank you. The reason I'm asking is this is a beautiful preview to the hearing. Like, it's putting the data out. It's getting people thinking about it. It's worth spending time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Helen. Jeff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jeff Compricos. Well, I was kind of looking forward to the names of the occupants of the bedrooms. That could have made for some very interesting reading here in town. I don't even know who's staying in my house some summers when we're at peak with the family. I'd like to see a list sometimes, who's upstairs, downstairs. But more seriously, how will we manage, I understand there are 955, more than 900 dwellings in town. Looking at the calendar, we have folks will be, those contracts are signed, money's moving, people will be going into those dwellings in a matter of months. How will we go through an inspection of, practically speaking, of up to 900 plus dwellings, and then revisiting some of them?
Right. Well, Ann
Thank you.
has she has some thoughts about that, but I agree, and that's why we got to make decisions quickly, or not belabor them
just
for
moving the
another 2
microphone. I
months.
have nothing to
Okay.
say.
Is there anyone else online?
Eileen has her hand up again.
Eileen, do you still have a question, or did you just not undo your hand?
I still have a comment. I think we
Okay.
got kind of cut off.
Please.
Thanks.
Sorry about that. We are recognizing you again, if you'd like to go ahead.
Thanks.
So there's been a little bit of conversation about flat fee or some sort of graduated fee based upon something like bedrooms. It seems to me that if you think about the cost of doing an inspection, probably the vast majority of the time an inspector is going to spend is traveling to from one house to the other. And the time that you spend actually inspecting the house will be a small fraction of that. Based upon that, to me, a flat fee really is a fair way to do it rather than trying to, eat the complexity of number of bedroom calculation and being ignorant of the fact that the largest amount of time is really related to the travel.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And thank you for that thought. Is there anyone else? No? Okay, so let's. Burkhead. Is there a person by the name of Burkhead?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, could you give us your full name, please?
Jesse Burkhead. I own a property on 35 Hopkins Drive. And I'm just wondering if we're going to get, when we register, we're going to get a full list of what is expected to be covered in the inspection so that we can make sure that all the areas are covered so we don't have to have a reinspection.
Right.
And I also read somewhere that we needed to get the septic inspected before as part of this deal. And I take high offense to that because we get our septic maintained so that we can live there part of the summer, very periodically. And that's a really huge fee and a huge expectation. So I really want to know going into this, I have no problem with registering or inspection, but I want to know what's expected so that we don't run into trouble. And I also appreciate Matt covered about all the other things that I was really concerned about, like occupancy. And one of the things that I'm not sure how things will play out, but if there's a violation and we were notified about the violation, how we're supposed to address it from 400 miles away, and the expectation that we have a 24-hour caretaker. We have someone on call, of course, but I don't know. He might go away for a few hours and not be available. And I think that when I read the original draft, it felt like you had, as a board, thrown every possible contingency into what we were going to be expected to do as an owner, when we've been really successfully renting for 15 years with no complaints. And so I guess I feel like that there's just some suspicion that's being generated of how owners have been running their properties and how they're going to be expected to run them in the future. That's all I have to say.
And this is Taylor Burkhead on the same property, and I'm kind of curious about the cost benefit of all of this. How much is it going to cost to actually do an inspection, to schedule inspections, to reschedule inspections, to actually accomplish this? And what is the benefit? If the main benefit is safety, I'd be curious to know how many people have been injured in the last, pick a number of years because of perceived violations of whatever is being covered by this ruling. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Burkhead, just to answer that there was a episode here on the Cape where a rental went on fire and there wasn't the proper exit and safety tools, fire alarms and that sort of thing in the house. So that is what has prompted, and it has happened elsewhere, has prompted the state to make this a mandatory program. So whatever you have read in that in the state's rulings, we're paring this down and putting it into, and we will be coming out with regulations, so we appreciate your comments on what is going to be expected of every homeowner, but we're trying to make this as less, to be not painful, and I think it's going to be more painful for the town just trying to get all those inspections in the right amount of people, but the fee is based on the cost of the program. Where they're not giving us this so that we can add more money to it to generate income. It is whatever the cost of implementing this new mandate should be the cost of what we're charging each homeowner across the board. So that's what I can hopefully clarify for you tonight, but there will be regulations developed and those will be submitted in the very near future.
Wait, and Jesse and Taylor, there's no septic requirement inspection.
Right.
Not with this, unless the Board of Health has reached out to you about something
No,
else.
there is not a septic inspection included or involved or mandated on this. Okay, we're going to keep on going with public comment. Can I just see who else is here? Is there Mike?
Chris Merle had.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mike Velle again. I spoke earlier. I have something really quick. It's just, it seems like we're rushing into this. Is there I realize it's obviously required by law, but how come you don't take this season to sort of sort this out and start your inspections in the fall when all the rentals are, everybody's done with their rentals and you have a bigger time frame to execute this properly and sort of think it out a little more? Maybe time could be your friend. So it's just a suggestion. Again, thank you very much.
As it turns out, we're late, but I'm going to let Ann give you the time. We're behind.
This was passed January 1st, 2025, this new requirement, and you were given a 6-month grace period to get this going, July, and we are here now, so we are out of compliance right now.
We and a number of other communities.
Yes.
I don't want to just.
We are out of compliance right now, so we are focusing on getting this started in January. Right now, the online application process will start January 15th, so you can go in and register your rental and also schedule your inspection. And I know some people will be here, some people won't be here. I know the model with a lot that use real estate, property managers, you have a lockbox, you have a code. That is all the same way our building inspector operates right now when he's inspecting a property anyway. So we're going to accommodate around people's schedules so that, and not to jeopardize, like what Jeff said, your income. I know I used to do short-term rentals at our house years ago, and you sign contracts almost a year in advance and receive payment. So we're going to go forward with this to make it as least disruptive as possible so that we can meet this regulation meet the safety requirement and just get used to this as a community in the first year.
Okay.
Chris Merle, and then Eileen has her hand up again.
All right, Chris? You have to unmute.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, Chris.
Okay, Chris, we hear you.
Yes, hi, how you doing? Hold on one sec. Thank you. I just wanted to say that I've been renting in Eastham, and I don't know if this is germane to this, but it's really easy to deal with, and it basically their inspections are all about public, safety, whether you have fire extinguishers, smoke alarms, all that stuff. I don't find them invasive. They've only been doing these inspections probably over the last 5 years. We've been renting for 25 years. We have 3 units that we rent to families in Eastham year round. I realize it's year round inspections, but that being said, they're $75 per unit a year is what we pay. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be, has nothing to do with what you're suggesting. I'm not saying it's too much or any of that. I'm just trying to give a point for, clarification. And I just find that the whole thing is very simple. The only thing we really had to do that was at all a little bit of a pain was do yearly water tests. So make sure we're giving them quality water. Since this year, we finally hooked up to the water supply, so we don't have to do that anymore. But I think it's just all, I think that we should try to model what Eastham's doing, not make it complicated, make it very simple where people aren't failing, because there's only so many things that you have to check off the list that you have. And that's obviously is for safety. And I don't know, they've been doing it here in Eastham, and it's been working out well for at least 5 years. And I don't find it invasive. So I'm hoping that Wellfleet will try to mimic what other towns are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, Matt.
Just one 30-second idea, and that is, there is some clear time constraint around doing, 900 plus inspections. For us, our first renter usually arrives in early April for the the Massachusetts school holiday.
Right.
So, if nobody can be in until there's an inspection, that could be a problem. So I'd like to suggest that for this first year and this first year only, that when somebody registers starting January 15th, there is a provisional certification, and that would give you time to catch up with the inspections, both, prior to the season for many, or as Mr. Merle suggests, in the fall, and letting, or actually that wasn't Mr. Merle, that was the fellow before Mr. Merle, and let time be a little less of a constraint around this. So just a thought. Thank you.
Just a thought. Okay, we've noted that. Thank you. Okay, you have one more comment? Go ahead.
Hi, Brent Schinke again. I was just looking for the state mandate that requires inspections to be done. I'm having a difficult time finding it. And ChatGPT and Google are telling me not all Massachusetts towns require inspections. So
Section 101.3 of CMR 780.
Section 101.3C?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, great.
Shoot.
Thank you.
Ian will send that to you, and I'm sure Matt can too. So I think he can email that to you.
Actually,
but
I took that off of Matt, so I know it's right.
So, no, we appreciate that. And I think everyone's trying to work with us, or we're trying to work with everyone else. And that's what I want everyone to understand, that this is new for everybody. And that's why we are trying to make it as simple. And it is something that is going to be revisited. Whatever regulation we have, we're going to put in there, that we're going to review it and revisit it and see what's working and how can we streamline it, or what are we missing. So, if there is nobody else online, I would like to go back to the board and pick up our conversation. Barbara.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And it's great to have the input from the public. I think this is a really important part of the process. One of the speakers, I think it was Melissa Yu, noted that Truro had raised its fees from $250 to $450. That was 2 years ago, and it was expressly for the purpose of covering the costs. of part of the housing coordinator's time because she runs rental registration. So that was the purpose of it. That's how it functions now. So just add that as a point to our discussion, that that's a real cost. And that is why Turo's rate went up from $250 to $450. It was not sort of an arbitrary increase. It was based on, administration's computation of what it would cost to add those services. So again, I think the 420 suggested by the town administrator is a good starting point for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh?
Through you to the town administrator, maybe 20, 25 minutes ago, I said $100 for inspection fee, and you had started to say that's not enough, and then we moved on. Can I just hear the rest of the answer?
Sure, if we're paying, if it's a $65 an hour employee, manager, okay, and then you get a 40% benefit on top of that, that's about $37. So you figure an hour per inspection at a minimum, you're at $102 before I add in any of the ancillary, the software and any of the other soft costs. So you're well over 100 just by starting
for the
turning the car on, yeah.
So if you could give us a place to work in for the first inspection, how much do you think that would cost the town?
I think the first inspection is going to cost you $120 at least.
Okay. So then we're back to 420.
Right.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. So the understanding is that the inspection fee is $120?
Yeah, if you trifecate, not buy, as has been suggested, I would recommend a $300 application fee or registration fee, excuse me, $120 inspection fee, and a $75 reinspection fee.
I see the 75. I was wondering what happened on 75. Okay, does anybody have any thoughts, comments?
Yeah, it will still take more time to do an inspection on a larger house than a smaller house.
Well, we will, I think that is something that we can ask people to take into consideration when they're doing those inspections, and if it does seem to be very timely on a larger house, we will take that as we review these in the future. But right now, we have to have a program that we can put in place and actually execute somewhat successfully. Barbara?
When they register, we can collect how many bedrooms. The assessor's database also indicates how many bedrooms on those properties. So the data exists. And that's information that the town will probably want, is basically how many bedrooms. And so it would be relatively simple. I mean, there's obviously some additional complexity, but comparatively, a lot of that information is already available.
Josh?
Respectfully to my colleague, Mr. Curley, I'm not interested in having any inspector collect any data on a home, on anyone's home. So I don't think it's appropriate for...
I think it's probably listed anyway.
No, I was saying the bedroom count is already in the assessor's database.
So that I agree with, but you had previously said that the inspector could count the number of bedrooms.
No, that during registration, there would probably be a request for the number of bedrooms.
I understand, thank you.
Rather than the inspection.
Thank you.
Barbara?
So, Madam Chair, do we want to decide first whether we're going to do a flat fee and have a separate fee for the inspection, or are we just talking about combining them, at least for the first year, before the reinspection amounts are considered?
Well, in my mind, I was thinking of it all as in one, but now that we're talking about two different things and that those things can change as the year goes on, or the next year follows, I think it will be one fee.
Okay.
As long as people understand, we can give them what they're paying for. They're paying $120 for this inspection, and there is a $300 registration.
That's two fees, not one.
I understand, but if we give one fee and explain and break it out in that bill of why it is a total of $420, it would be a way to go.
So excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm in favor of breaking it out this way because we might find that after we get a year or two of data, that administering the registration might be less than expected.
Correct.
And we're able to reduce the registration fee. We might see that it is costing us more. I think the inspection fee is a good guess at best, but could certainly go well beyond what we assume, and we need to recoup that cost.
That's right.
And so I am very much in favor of making a clear delineation between registration fee and inspection fees so that we can adjust accordingly. And as just a comment, I know we talk about fees, but the intent of the town is to be as unobtrusive as possible. We have to do this.
Right.
Nobody, I'm going to speak for myself, I think I can speak for my colleagues pretty plainly, that we don't want to have to do this. And so when Mr. Rosenberg spoke to limiting the scope to what is necessary, I agree with that. I do agree that owners have a responsibility as a business owner for those that patronize their business. So we may disagree on that point, and I think we'll find an equitable middle ground there. But I'm going off track because tonight we really just need to codify that there is going to be a registration, but we need to codify what the cost will be so that people can get started.
Right.
I think that's most important.
I'm sorry, I'm going to go to Tom, because he's had his hand up a few times.
I just want to give a little anecdotal history from years ago when I was in between jobs. I carried the dumb end of a ruler for a gentleman who did lead paint inspections for HUD. Okay, and we would go into efficiencies, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. And the difference in time between the efficiency and the 4-bedroom was probably 7 minutes. If you're only looking for a couple of specific things, you go into the bedroom, you don't have a smoke detector here, you need to put one here, your CO2 meter's okay, that type, it doesn't, for the limited scope of the health safety issues that we're looking at. We didn't, we were doing the thing with lead. It didn't take long to do an additional room, is all I'm saying.
I agree.
The gentleman who spoke earlier, I think, is correct. Your travel time and then your reporting is going to be the heft of the time put in. The inspection is relatively short.
I mean, travel time, and I'm going to speak strictly from professional experience on this, because there's so many of these that there's going to be a large number of close proximity to each other. And so travel time between one to the other will be really small. It'll probably be about 5 minutes on average, and that includes getting in the vehicle and getting out, because literally you go 2 driveways down and there's your next one. So it's not like they're widely dispersed, but there's a huge number of them, and so there's always a number that are in close proximity to each other.
Right. Okay. Barbara.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you to the town administrator. And to Ann, did you envision this as one fee, or were you, okay.
We did, but it's not going to hinder our administrative if it's split.
No.
It's just adding a column on a spreadsheet. It's not a big deal.
I think it should be 2, particularly because, yes, everybody the first year is going to have to pay for the inspection, but the primary owner occupant units do not have to have the inspection the following year, and it's unfair to charge them the same amount as basically somebody that's also receiving an inspection at that point in time. So it would be just better if there's the flat registration fee and then a inspection fee.
Yeah, I think that's the better, I think actually after discussion, that's the better way to go.
Right,
Okay,
so that's
through
the way
chair.
we're going to go.
So through the chair, the proposal is, from staff is $300 registration fee annually for everyone. Initially, the initial inspection, $120. And then each subsequent inspection that's required, whether that's every year or every 3 years, is $75.
No. Every inspection, if it's every year or every 3 years, will be the $120.
Okay.
If there is someone who doesn't show up for the time of the inspection, or we have to come back and do a second inspection, That's where the $75 reinspection fee
Got,
comes.
sorry. Okay, so then the recommendation from staff is $300 registration fee annually and $120 inspections per inspection, which will, for some properties will be yearly and for other properties will be
At a
every
different cycle.
3 years. Okay, I support that. Thank you.
I think Brian had said 5 years.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
a-
think three,
Just for figuring out what we're going to vote on for fees, the schedule is $300 registration fee annual, $120 fee per inspection.
correct.
So one thing is that, so the following years are going to have, the first year we have the most number of inspections because of the primary owner occupied ones. And of course, there's also ones that turn over.
Right.
But with that expectation that there will be fewer inspections in year 2, would we want to have a higher inspection fee initially, or would that be best applied next year?
I would ask the board to consider, this is a pretty, I don't rent, so I don't know, but this, to me, this seems like a pretty hefty fee to start. I would like to get a year in and see if we need to do a differentiation on the, thank you, on the fee. But let's get that first 18 months under our belt, really, so we know.
I agree.
Go through one cycle and see what we come up with.
So do we have,
Yeah, so I was going to see if the chair was prepared for a motion.
I am prepared for a motion.
So I move to set the rental registration fee at $300 annually for all properties, all registrations. Well, I guess we state it per unit,
Per
Per-
registration.
Per,
per unit.
per unit.
Yeah,
Per
each
unit.
unit has its own.
Right.
Exactly, $300 annually per unit, and to set the inspection fee at $120 per inspection. Anything else?
75 on any reinspection
And
required.
$75 on any re-inspections required.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? If not, I am going to take a roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
Okay. Now,
Madam Vice Chair, as just a matter of procedure, do we have to close the public hearing? Or can we do that after?
I just want to make sure, by doing what we just did did we now establish the registry?
You would establish the fee, you now have to establish the registry.
So do I have a motion to establish the registry?
So moved.
Second.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara,
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Okay. Now, with all of that done, we have a registry, everyone knows what the fee will be, the portal will be open on the 15th, the regulations are going to be coming up next. We have taken, and if you have any further comments, if anybody has any further thoughts that they think about later on tonight or tomorrow, please email them to us because we will review those as we're going over the regulations, and we will take into consideration not making it difficult for people and to kind of keep it to what the letter of the law asks us to cover.
So, Madam Chair, are we continuing the hearing to our next meeting date?
No, I think we have just,
There has to be a new hearing.
it will be a new hearing on the regulations.
We can do the regs.
This was posted just for the fee?
This was just
Oh,
to
okay.
establish the fee
Registry.
and the registry. So the next one will be a different hearing on the regulations.
Got it.
We'll get those out and hopefully get it all done very quickly so that everybody knows what's required and why and for how long.
Okay, then I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Barbara, aye.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
So closed. Thank you. We can call our other chair back in.
All right, it worked. Thank you. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yes, I know, obviously, you won the day, but,
Oh, yeah. I'm going to give you the sheet
Where is
that
John?
Mr. Rosenberg gave me, because I can make a
Madam
copy.
Vice Chair, Chair recommend that we have a 5-minute recess to bring our chair back.
Okay, there's been a request for a 5-minute recess. I'm going to honor it. We will come back to session at 8:10.
Where'd he go? I always would just stand up.
I'm sorry, it's just that we did say 8:10.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, he was just standing there.
All right, call the meeting back to order. We are now up to item B of public hearings to approve the Wellfleet beach sticker fee increase as discussed and approved as part of a 5-year fee structure submitted by the beach director. Suzanne, you want to? Oh, I'm sorry. Are we doing the appointments?
Mr. Chairman, I was going to ask the board if they would consider taking the appointments up now so that folks that are here for appointments don't have to stay another hour and a half.
Sure.
So if we could take at least the people that I know are here, Ms. Miranda Wilson and Mr. Durbin.
All right. Let us start with Helen Wilson to be appointed as a voting member of the Board of Water Commissioners. Want to come up? Yeah.
Sure.
Come on up.
Come on up, Helen. Are we actually?
There's no one on the board.
Okay. Are we're taking votes tonight?
You would be, if you so desire.
All righty. Okay.
All right. Does well, Helen, do you want to introduce yourself on this first?
Yes, I'm Helen Miranda Wilson. My last name's Wilson, and I was a water commissioner a long time ago, and I'm well-versed in what the job consists of. And right now, given the length and depth of my experience with it, and the fact that the water commissioners, which are required by the charter to do certain things in relation to the municipal water system, except in an emergency, there's nobody on that committee right now. So if we get 2 more people, we can start having meetings. But there are all kinds of decisions that, sort of more routine decisions like allowing hookups and so forth that can't happen unless it's populated with at least a quorum. And so, because I like the material, and I'm an experienced regulatory board member, that's for sure. And I have no conflicts. I thought I'd apply. And I'm reaching out and trying to think of people who might populate it just to have it functional.
Establish, right,
Yeah.
a committee.
I have no agenda. I have concerns. I've kept up with it over the years. I haven't been a water commissioner for years, but we have a big, expensive system. And not having a functioning water commission for months now is pretty serious. Not to say that the town administrator and the Jay Norton, the chair, the director of the DPW, hasn't been there for it. But this isn't a good situation. And it's kind of dire, in fact. It's not like the planning board not being populated. Actually, that's pretty dire.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay, before we go any farther, I should formally announce that the opening of the public hearing. This is a public hearing, so.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's
Oh,
not.
it isn't?
No, we're just taking.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. This is what happens when we take stuff out of order. Okay, my apologies. Do we have any questions for Helen from the board? Josh?
No, I'm prepared to make a motion, Mr. Chair.
I'm going to ask Helen, I've already asked her this question, but just, Helen, what's your position on the water system trying to pay for the majority of the costs of the enterprise fund?
How much time do we have?
Not much.
I know, I can be short. I've thought about it for years. I've thought about it since 2004. If you look at the packet and you see my application, which has quite a lot in it, through you to Ryan, this is one of the first things that whoever populates whoever you appoint to be on the water commissioners, that we have to look at. It's been looked at various times. I'm in great detail aware of the different ways in which the water system could pay for itself. And it's under the guidelines of the state, it should. It's not mandated, but it works better if it does. However, what you all may not know is that initially with the first big expansion, which I was in on in the early 2000s, the town voted to do it, knowing that the town would always have to supply some money to keep up, that it wasn't going to be like that, which was not okay, but that's how it started. And we need to address that, and there are a variety of ways to do it. It's complicated.
Okay.
So, Ryan, I may have my individual ideas about it, but if I'm working on a committee, that's going to be a discussion. It has to be addressed, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had already talked to you about it, so this is more for everybody else.
Fine with me.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks. Anyone else? All right, then, Josh?
I move to appoint Helen Miranda Wilson as a voting member to the Wellfleet Board of Water Commissioners for a term of approximately 3 years to expire June 30th, 2028, to be sworn in by the town clerk before voting at an upcoming meeting.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye.
There you go.
Welcome back to...
Well,
Take
you're
the
all
opportunity.
by
Thank
yourself. Maybe we can get people to come on.
Yeah, and may I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Guys, I've been at your table for 10 years, and you're an appointing authority, and I've been beating the bushes. Could you please beat the bushes a little bit?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I have been too. Thank you.
I'm being nice, okay?
I also want to make a comment, if I could,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. Jim Hood, who resigned a while ago, but he has been just a wonderful resource. Jay calls him, I call him. He's been, and is willing to stay helpful. He just resigned from another board too, so but he's been great, so I just wanted that.
Yeah, and excuse me, may I?
Yeah, well, let's...
Sorry, she's the chair.
When I was initially reviewing the material to be sure I felt like doing this again, I've been in constant touch with
Yeah.
him because the material interests me, whether I'm on the committee or not. But I said to him, look, at the very least, could you at least come to the meetings to help us? Because he has incredible institutional memory. But right now, he's on vacation for a month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen, and welcome back to serving the town.
Excuse me, I'm on the HRAC.
Oh, that's
There you
right.
go. That's right.
Sorry.
That doesn't count.
Okay, so Chris Durbin.
Hi, Chris. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Thank you for changing the agenda.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Tom, I appreciate that very much.
We have to think about that more.
Would you like me to introduce myself?
Yeah, please,
also?
please, by all means.
So my name is Chris Durbin. My wife and I have owned a seasonal house in Wellfleet for about 10 years, though we've been coming for probably 30 years with our children here and just absolutely love the town. Both of us got active resettling refugees about 10 years ago, and I have a career in business. I'm not Helen at all in terms of regulatory body experience, but I have a lot of board experience, for-profit, both public and private, and nonprofit board experience. And I wanted to come up with a better idea for finding housing for refugees, because if anyone has helped resettle refugees, housing is the critical element, because there's no landlord that will vouch for them. They don't have an income record. You can't get a landlord to rent to refugees. So I tried to solve the problem in a way that I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I tried to mix a little bit of social philanthropy with capitalism. So my wife and I bought a 3-family in Cambridge. We're renting it to refugees at what they would pay for government-supported housing, 30% of their income, with a goal that we would make money on the sale. So it's a capitalist idea, but not to make money as we go. Fast forward to where we are here, and I wanted to do a similar thing on trying to fill in the middle between what we'll call capital A affordable housing and market-based housing. I think the town has made tremendous progress on capital A affordable housing. And so was there a way that we could come up with lowercase a affordable housing that would be attainable for individuals in the town, the nurses, the school teachers, the people that we know? And so I think people may be aware, but we just finished about a month ago the first community land trust model home sale in Wellfleet to a local shell fisherman and his wife. We separated the value of the land from the value of the house. The land was donated to the trust, and the house will be, the appreciation on the house will be capped, and the trust will share in some of that appreciation over time. We're going to do another one of these, I hope, by the end of the month, and we're looking at other properties possibly to do this, and we want other people to do it. And when I started talking to Kathleen Nagel about the trust being the recipient of the land, it was clear that there may be some work that the trust would have to do, and so I had volunteered myself as I'm happy to help on that, and I'm here now because I guess there was a resignation on the trust, and I'm happy to fill that seat, if so appointed, since I'm obviously familiar with at least one aspect of the trust's now charter, which is to manage the lease that the trust now holds with the house on that land. That was a lot of introduction, I'm sorry. But
No, it's good.
That's what we need to hear.
Mr. Chair, through you?
Yes.
First and foremost, Mr. Drippin, I think what you're doing in town is tremendous. Your project at Whitetail, the project you have going on at Pole Dyke, I think it's real substantive change for the better, and I really appreciate what you're doing. I also sit on the Affordable Housing Trust, and so I'm very familiar with what you're doing. My question is, you just said that you want to continue to do that, and I hope you do. Have you had any discussions around how that may conflict with your duties as a trustee if you continue to do these attainable developments that you've been doing?
I have. At the housing coordinator's suggestion, I spoke to an ethics lawyer with the state of Massachusetts last week, and he basically questioned me on two things. Number one, do I have a continuing financial interest in the donation that is made to the trust? And I don't. Zero. It's 100% given to the trust, and I have no obligations nor rights with respect to the land. The second thing he asked about was if I were on the trust at the time that the LLC that my wife and I manage that owns the property until we donate it, if I'm on the trust when another donation is going to be made, I can't be the one on the LLC to make the donation. My wife has to be that person. And other than that, I think he was perfectly fine.
Disclosure. Right.
That's the only question I had. Thank you.
Okay. Is anyone else?
Yeah, if there is a future donation being made, you would need to file the disclosures with the board. There's two different ones. One is if there isn't really a conflict of interest, but there's an appearance of, or the other one is where there is a financial conflict of interest, in which case the board would need to make a determination if the interest was not so substantial to influence your service on that specific subject. Generally, you would likely have to recuse from the trust on that specific area, but on other areas, you obviously you bring a really great perspective too. So.
I'll take that as a given.
Right.
And it is a little different than what I heard from the ethics lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer, so I will take whatever direction the board gives, and happy to recuse myself if that's what's going to be necessary.
Yeah, I mean, you'd file the conflict of interest form, and then the board would make a determination of whether or not, your interest is not so, to influence. So that, if that's the determination that the board makes, then you can participate. Yeah.
Sheila?
Nothing. Thank you. Barbara?
Through the chair, through
Barbara?
the chair.
Right.
Apologies.
I'm sorry.
No, this first transaction like this is really meaningful, and it's sort of rippling out. And I work for the town of Truro, and a homeowner or a property owner came to me and asked if there was anything that he could do like this. And I said, I don't know the details, but I know someone who does. So I just hope that part of
That's the goal.
your service is to sort of spread the word and give your expertise to people on how this can be replicated, because it's, once people see that it can actually be done, I think that makes it even more valuable, that it's not just an idea, but that it's been done. So I'm very happy that you want to add this to your sort of portfolio, so I'm happy to make a motion, I'm happy to make a motion. if I may.
Okay,
Sorry.
if
And I
if we're done with, no one else has any questions?
No. And I apologize, Mr. Chair, that I keep looking at the
I
vice
know,
chair.
I know,
Because we
Mr.
just had
Chair.
that hearing.
That was a long hearing.
I know, so my apologies. Mr. Chairman, yes, Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Chris Durbin as a trustee to the Affordable Housing Trust for a term of 2 years to expire June 30th, 2027, to be sworn in by the town clerk before voting in an upcoming meeting.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Thank you
Welcome,
for-
and thank you for stepping up.
Joining the board as well.
Can we interest you in the water commissioners?
Yeah. Spread the word.
I think we may have somebody else that will make a quorum on that. I'm working on
Okay.
that now.
Tom,
Let's see.
Yes, sir.
should we table the other two for now?
Thomas Jansen might be online as iPhone, but I'm not sure.
Well,
It's right here.
Oh, it's right there.
Oh,
Just kidding.
Oh.
that poor
Okay.
guy's been sitting there. all-
Mr. Jansen is here. We can bring him up now, too.
Yes, let's do
why
it.
don't you come on up?
Thank you for your patience, Mr. Jansen.
Oh, yes, before we all have to go to bed. I'm with you. Okay, nice to see you.
Thank you. My name is Tom Jansen. I'm a full-time resident of Wellfleet, have been for 11 years now. Started working at the Adult Community Center as a van driver, my boss.
She's tough.
She's tough.
Yeah, I know.
And, just recently joined the Conservation Land Trust as a trustee, and was approached by a couple of people on the Open Space Board to see if I would be interested in joining them as well as a bridge between the two departments. So that's why I'm here. I don't really know a whole lot about open space or even the Conservation Land Trust, but I'm learning. I go to all the meetings. I'm attending everything that's come up. And I look forward to working with them and working with you guys, I guess, because the open space is a town position.
And it's precious land.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, very much into
With
it.
it.
Quick question, just a
Yeah.
question of clarity to town administration. In our agenda packet, it speaks to also wanting to be on the Conservation Commission. That seems,
It was.
No,
on
that
the-
was,
It was just a second, so
was
I
it.
always put them.
yeah.
I think it says Conservation Land Trust. So just to be clear, you're looking to be appointed to the Open Space Committee?
That's correct.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then I was wondering the same thing myself.
Thank you.
Thanks. Does anyone else have any questions?
Really
If you
appreciate you
do,
stepping
I
up.
Yeah.
hope I have an answer.
I don't have any other questions.
Then I'm ready for a motion then.
I move to appoint Thomas Jansen as voting member to the Wellfleet Open Space Committee for a term of 3 years, expiring June 30th, 2028, to be sworn in by the town clerk before voting at any upcoming meetings.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Very much.
Thank you for being patient.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and I do not see Tim Sayer online, so,
Not here, he's out of town. He said if you wanted to wait, that would be fine, or you could just reappoint him.
okay, what's the sense of the board on that? I'm fine either way.
Fine reappointing.
I'm personally fine to
Yeah,
reappoint.
me too.
We know Mr. Sayer
All
pretty
right,
well.
let's get it done then.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move to reappoint Timothy Sayre for a 3-year, to the Shellfish Advisory Committee for a term of 3 years ending June 30th, 2028, to be sworn in by the town clerk once his term ends in January.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Right, and we are now
Hearing.
at the hearing.
While we're moving on, just a small point for when we continue to have these committee appointments. I think we need to slightly amend the boilerplate language so that, because appointing to a term of 3 years and then ending before the 3-year term can be construed as confusing.
Yeah, it can just be a term ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a term, and it's instead of a year, term ending June 30th, 2028.
Exactly.
Okay,
We
can
just
do
need to
that.
get rid of 3 years.
Except for
When
certain.
certain boards that require a specific term, yes.
Okay.
I think she does that to cover. Anyway, okay.
In that case, Suzanne, you want to come up?
Yes.
You got to open the hearing.
Gee, I guess it's been
And
5 years now, huh?
at this time, I will formally open the public hearing on the, to approve the Wellfleet Beach sticker fee increase as discussed and approved as part of a 5-year fee structure submitted by the beach director. And, first, I guess we'll have, if there are any questions from anyone on the board or town administration.
I think if, Mr. Chairman, if I could, if we let Suzanne put through her, what the proposal is, this is
Yeah.
just a continuation of what we've been doing year after year, but
Correct. Thank you for having me this evening, ladies and gentlemen. In my packet, I submitted a 5-year plan, which is the 4th 5-year schedule for fees that I have submitted to the various select boards in Wellfleet. The pattern is the resident sticker goes up $5, it goes up every 5 years, and the visitor stickers go up every other year. And consistently since 2011, this pattern has held. And between 2011 and by 2030, the resident sticker will have gone from 20 to 40, but that's an average of $2 a year over a 20-year period. So overall, I don't think it's too onerous on the residents pay a lot of fees, taxes, and I don't think it's appropriate to charge any more than that. The visitor fees, it's a user fee for the period of time that you're here in Wellfleet. It's optional, it's not mandatory. You can go before 9 in the morning, you can go after 5 in the afternoon, and still enjoy the beach. So this is for people who want to go midday. And if you'll, the only other increase that hasn't been seen before is the additional $5 fee for the day parking at Whitecrest. And if you look at in the summer of 2026, we sold 4,293 day passes at Whitecrest, which would come up to about another some $1,000 on the total revenue for the beaches over the summer of 26. on an estimate if it doesn't rain a lot. It's very, very weather-driven. I can't predict what that's going to be. But we are consistent on our numbers with the other types of stickers. The only one that's taken a hit is the 2-week sticker. And I think a lot of that is that people who used to be able to afford 2 weeks here now come for 1 week and enjoy themselves. So, and it hasn't translated to a lot of 3-day stickers, but that's a weather factor. If we have a hot, hot summer, you'll see a lot more 3-day stickers. They'll be escaping for the weekends. So given that inability to accurately predict what's going to happen, I present this fee schedule to you for your approval.
Speaking for myself, I see nothing on there that is unusual or unreasonable. And that hasn't been discussed before, like as you pointed out.
Exactly. We've had this discussion more than once.
Right. Actually, we had it last year and then.
Anyone else?
Out of curiosity, and only because I'm the rookie here, but I think
I'm sorry, Josh, I can't hear you.
Excuse me. Simply out of curiosity, and because I am the rookie here.
The new guy.
Because we run fiscal years and not necessarily seasonal years, the reason why we have a very low total of resident stickers purchased for fiscal year 26 is because most residents will buy them before the 30th of June. Is that accurate?
Correct. I ran the figures for the month of June for 2025 and for 2024 last week, and 2024 was $270,000 in June, and in 2025 it was over $300,000 in June. So there is a huge chunk, like almost 30% of the revenue comes in June on a fiscal year. These, however, are all fiscal year totals to be able to compare apples to apples, even though our season is June through August, so it encompasses 2 fiscal years.
Hey, Barbara?
Yeah, just because you're here and are so knowledgeable, is there anything else, any other trends that you noted that would be of interest to us?
There's nothing except that I think, I totally agree with the real estate. The rentals were soft last summer. However, I do observe there were same number of people roaming around, and the restaurants and the galleries and the shops did rather well because of the volume, but people can't afford to rent out here. They rent further up Cape and come down for the day.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board or from town administration? Seeing none, I'm looking to see if there are hands raised. Oh yeah, here we go. Sarah, introduce yourself, and there you go.
Hello, Sarah Nichols here. I have a couple of questions. First one, how come the Labor Day stickers aren't included in this packet? Are those not looked at to increase? Should I ask my next question or wait for an answer? Or
Why don't you let her answer that one?
It's an oversight. There's only a handful sold each year, and I neglected to add it to the total.
What is that fee typically?
The Labor Day fee this year was $50, and it's good from the Friday before Labor Day through Labor Day itself. It's a special end-of-season special 4-day sticker.
And is that scheduled to increase, or is that going to remain the same?
That would remain the same because it was increased last year.
Oh, okay. All right. Does that answer that question for you?
Yes, it does. Thank you. So my next question, back on February 4th, the last time it was discussed about fee increases, February 4th of this year, 25, I pointed out there was some accounting discrepancies in a document that I had received from Suzanne via a public records request. And at that time, Suzanne gave an explanation as to why those discrepancies existed, but that explanation was false. And I emailed the board.
Excuse me.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. I can't.
This is not what the purpose of this meeting is tonight. If Ms. Nichols has questions as to accounting,
Yeah, that is a separate issue.
Set fees. We're not going after employees tonight.
No, or ever. You can take that up at town hall. It is not a proper subject for this meeting. Is that clear?
Okay, so I'm going to ask this question and let me know if this is okay. I'm just wondering, if you're looking to do revenue, it doesn't make sense how it's kept track of. So if you look on page 49,
we are not going to go down that rabbit hole. So if you don't have any further questions directly connected with the proposed fee increases, your time is up.
I do. So my next point then, so established underneath the Emerson College versus Boston for fees, it has to pass a three-pronged test. That if the charges for a particular service, it's the recipient of the service and the payment of the charge is voluntary, and that the charge is designed to compensate the government for its cost in providing the service and not to raise revenue generally. So at that February 4th meeting, the board members established that the beach fees fully fund the beach operation and that additional revenue is used to offset line items. And per my public records request, in the last 5 years, from 2021 to 25, the fiscal years, the beach operation generated $4,780,559, almost exclusively through the sale of beach parking passes. And then for the corresponding time frame, the beach operation cost $2,345,000.
I'm going to stop you right here, and I'm going to ask ask Tomas to cut off your mic. I am not going to tolerate any more of this going down these rabbit holes. If you have an issue with how our finances are being handled, you are welcome to bring those concerns to the Department of Revenue or the Attorney General's office. But you're not welcome to bring them to this meeting. We are done with this. Are there any other hands up? I don't see any.
Is Chris? No.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
All right. In that case, I'm going to take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye.
And then before we move on to the approval of the fees, I would be willing to revisit the property tax minimums, but that, I said the same when they were established, and I was the minority on the board then, so if the board does not wish to, I mean, that's fine with me as well. I just want to note that, particularly, property taxes are not historically the best way to establish the bona fides of somebody. And there's a long history, historically speaking, of the utilization of property tax minimums to exclude certain people. But I do also understand if it's, particularly, not a piece of property that has a residence on it or something of that nature, that then it's a little bit of a different situation.
Okay.
So that's, yeah.
Yeah, that issue's not on the agenda, and
Right.
yeah.
Just for the record, before we close out, I have very good senior leadership in the town of Wellfleet. We have a good group. Suzanne's preparation, presentation, and thoroughness of understanding of what she's doing is second to none. And I want, since she's agreed to stay on another 10 years for me, but I have, the accountants look at this, we do this every year, we're clean, it's fine, and I just want notwithstanding, you to know that your efforts have been appreciated
You know, and
in my
that,
tenure,
Here, here.
in 28 years prior to that.
here, here, indeed. Thank you, Tom.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I move to approve the beach fees as presented to the board in the fee schedule.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Suzanne,
Thank you,
for your
Suzanne.
excellent and thorough work.
Yes.
While you're rearranging the agenda, could you consider taking up the Gull Pond question while I'm still awake?
Sure.
Yes, certainly. Let me just pull that up here. Here we are.
Do we want to
Number 8B.
let Stephen know?
I'm texting him right now.
All right.
Okay.
Is that under business?
It's business B.
Business
Yeah,
B.
business B.
Yeah, 8B.
I've lost it.
Here, take mine.
But I read it, so I know it, but thank you. Oh, here it is. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mike Schiller and Michelle Fanzo are the owners of Jack's Boat Rentals now out on the highway. And he approached Tom and myself about a month ago with a proposal to do some kind of limited kayak vessels, different subs, kayaks at Gull Pond. And wanted to know how to go about it. And I said that it ultimately had to be decided by the board, but it would require touching base with different boards and committees, bring that information back, having a formal discussion. I talked to the assistant town administrator, and he affirmed that it would be considered a lease of town property that had never been, he said, had never been leased that before. There's some discussion about that, but it requires a different kind of procurement process, including a 30-day advertising period to allow people to bid on it. I talked to Mike a couple of times and decided that the entire question was going to require a lot of inquiry and research. And before Mike and pretty much the staff went forward with bringing it to all the proper boards and committees, I wanted to bring it to the select board to see whether indeed this was something you would like to hear about and make a decision on, or whether that would be a wasted effort on our part and on Mike and Michelle's part. And Mike and Michelle are online tonight. Am I correct, Rebecca?
Yep.
Okay, and so they can answer any questions you have about the proposal. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I do have a question. I guess for you or for them. You probably heard earlier, during public comment that there were
Kathleen,
some
yeah.
concerns raised about the, I guess, the erosion of the banks and other concerns like that. And
Oh, well, if I could, John.
Yeah.
It's true. The original iteration of Jack's Boat Rentals at Gull Pond included a stairway that was built by that company at that time so people could access their boats, and their boat rentals were moored along the edge of the pond to the north of where the public swims at Gull Pond. And it was an ever-expanding number of boats. According to the contract, it was supposed to be 12, and on any one day there might be upwards of 30, because he would truck them in the morning. Seashore got involved. The Conservation Commission got involved. Long story short, the town voted not to renew the lease in 2011. And since that time, the offending stairway has been removed. That bank has been revegetated with the labor of AmeriCorps and the Conservation Department in Wellfleet, and a grant from the Community Preservation Committee at town meeting to buy the materials and provide the vegetation. In addition, the kayak rack program run by the town, now in a lottery, was established to prevent for those of us who have been here a while, that pile of canoes up against the split rail fence by the launch ramp. We fenced off the original parking area where everybody parked under those lovely pine trees, but on top of the roots, and it was endangering the roots. And if the trees went, then the parking lot would go, and if that went, the pond would go. So we have made a lot of strides in reclaiming that area. I do know the one area of concern right now is not the Gull Pond Landing itself, but the sluiceway as a location where people could rent a vessel and then spend the day, leaving their trash and other signs that they had been there behind. And I know the NRAB is interested in looking into this meeting and bringing you their input into the situation. Last August, the Select Board accepted the report from the NRAB in which they recommended against any commercial enterprises being at any of the ponds. So those are the facts, and that's why it's way above my pay grade to make sure, Mike, go ahead and apply for a decision, or no, I don't think you should. That's just not my call. It's the Select Board's call. So that's why I'm here.
Bob. Barbara?
So, yes, through the chair, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Suzanne. I think this is the right way to go about it, just to check in with us first before they go about, knocking on everyone else's doors. So I think this is a responsible proposal. I agree with the premise that this would make this accessible to people who don't currently have access to it. Right now, you have to have your own craft, and you have to be able to get it there and get it into the water, and that excludes a lot of people, and I'm very interested in more people having access to this resource area in a responsible way, as long as it meets with, Conservation Commission, everybody else who needs to weigh in on this. So I am 100% in favor of this proposal making the rounds. And, depending on what the outcome of that is, we'll see. I'll vote accordingly. But for now, I think this is just a great idea. Thank you.
I do have a question about, Tom, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Suzanne if she could walk through. There had been some questions about taking people who have away, and
Yes.
that was addressed, and I think that should be addressed here too.
Right. That was my concern, because when I first saw the Google Earth, I think it's Google Earth, unless Mike has a really, really good drone, his proposed area of use, and that would eliminate about 10 racks, 20 spaces of the existing available rack space at Gull Pond. But then when I spoke to Mike, he said he'd be perfectly willing to share that space and have his 10 racks for his 20 vessels, and we would have our 10 racks, and the town would not lose those 20. However, that means that there's 20 more vessels on the pond, but not all at once. So we have to, it's not a flotilla, a daily flotilla of kayaks that paddle out into the Gull Pond. If you go down there, you will see some of the racks are empty because people haven't bothered to put their kayaks out, and we're now monitoring that. Some of the people are on the pond, but I would say mostly 2/3 of the racks are full at any non-boats not being used, and only the other third. So I don't think the total impact of another 20 on the pond, and the odds that they're going to rent every single one every single day for every single minute are pretty slim, I think. I mean, I don't know the boat rental business, but I can't see it. So I think that that's one of the things we have to explore. The good thing is he's not within the resource zone. He's more than 100, the proposed location of his rental business is more than 100 feet from the coast, from the edge of the water. So that removes that immediate concern that was there before because it was in the water, it was in the resource. So I think we have a good basis to go forward and explore. I do have a few thoughts about the impact on the sluice that as we explore and you come to me as the beach director to give my input, I will be able to share those. But at this point, it's not really important.
Okay, I have one question, then I'll get to you. There was concerns raised about vessels having been in other bodies of water being brought to Gull Pond. I understand that they're going to be taking measures to prevent the introduction of whatever might come from another body of water. Are they planning to?
I haven't discussed that with him specifically, but there are measures, and these vessels that he rents do go in all bodies of water in Wellfleet now. And I don't think it's so much Wellfleet water to Wellfleet water as it is upstate New York water to Wellfleet water.
Oh, I see.
That's my understanding of it.
Okay.
And I can add.
Mike?
Hello?
Sorry to interrupt, Suzanne, but I can add just a little bit more detail.
Yes, go ahead.
Right, this is Mike and Michelle, we're both here. But just for the record, right, the plan would be that any of the boats that were positioned at Gull Pond stayed at Gull Pond and were never transported anywhere else for the duration of the summer. And if they were, we have the general rule that within Jack's Boat Rental that every boat, every time it comes back, every boat, every paddle, every life jacket gets washed with soap and disinfectant and water before it ever goes back out of our shop again. We'd be making sure that the boats at Gull Pond were clean, but again, they're not going to go anywhere all summer, so it's only going to be Gull Pond water that they touch.
Very good. I'm glad we made that clear. 'Cause I mean, I'm generally supportive of this. I just wanted to make sure that all these I's got dotted.
Yep.
Josh?
Likewise, I'm generally supportive of this. I think it's important that we can support a local business. I think that it would be a tremendous opportunity for visitors that don't own a vessel to be able to enjoy it. You know, I don't own a vessel like this, and maybe I would want to enjoy it. But that's not the point. I think the one comment I do want to make and make sure that the applicant's aware is that you're opening the door to competition, that it has to go out to bid, and there could be another entity that outbids for this opportunity. So I just want to caution everyone that, you know, as a public resource above a certain threshold, someone else can make a bid for this opportunity that we're opening.
Yep. Sheila?
As much as I want to be able to support people's recreation on the ponds when they come and visit, I know that I probably would have liked this when I was a summer resident. We do have a natural resource advisory. They've worked very hard on the health of the pond and what makes healthy ponds and what doesn't. It was decided in their draft management plan that there would be no commercial endeavors at our ponds. Our ponds are very fragile. They are on a fragility list. They haven't been, deemed imperfect yet, but it's only a matter of time. The more we take it for granted that we can do these things and not really have an impact on the pond. So as much as I would like to support a business expanding, as much as I would like to be able to provide that, I would not be able to support this. Think about what people have recommended to us, what has been decided in the past, and this is sort of going against it. And, we're sort of like the last area of the Cape where the ponds are still in pretty good shape, and that's not by accident. It's purposeful thinking and planning, and we do want to maintain them for years to come. So as much as I hate doing this, I am going to go against this vote.
Okay, well, since we don't have to vote on this,
We're trying to get a sense of the board.
Okay, well, the sense of the board, you get my sense.
all right, then would there be some point to, at a future, if this is on a future agenda item, to bring someone from the Natural Resources Advisory Board to that meeting to participate in the discussion?
Yeah, I met with Laura Hewitt this week, recently. And she only requested the opportunity for the NRAB to review the proposal and come back to you with their, and I would recommend maybe this could go on an agenda in January, because for the holidays, forget it. I mean, people aren't around. It's hard to have a committee meeting. But to give all the boards and committees that need to review it an opportunity to make it part of their agenda at a regular meeting, I would say the earliest you can come back to this would be the end of January, beginning of February.
The second meeting of the Select Board in January is the 20th.
That sounds too soon, though.
Is the goal?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, and the first
if we go
meeting.
into February, I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, and also check their schedule when they can be here
Yeah,
and speak to us.
if we give people now first week in February, a month and a half, they should be able to meet.
So, Mr. Chairman, I don't think Ryan had a chance to
Oh, I'm sorry,
comment.
Brian?
So I'm not generally favorable to having a concession at the location in general or where it's currently proposed. I do, however, think that we should be allowing operators to deliver watercraft to the pond, and they're currently not allowed to. So that's kind of where I am. The marginal impact of having a handful of extra paddlers, I mean, paddling boats is very low impact on water bodies in general. They're not power boats or, things of that nature. But yeah, so that's kind of where I am, is that I don't really want to have a concession at the location. But I do think that allowing basically a commercial operator to drop off boats for their renters would make a lot of sense. And actually one of the best ways to protect things is making people appreciate them and realize the value of them. And it's hard to do that if you exclude people from them. There's always a balancing act involved. So, it's always something to monitor. But I think there's a happy middle ground that would be possible.
Okay, thank you.
So this will be continued.
Unless somebody has any further questions, yeah.
No, so we'll take this up again in February?
Yeah, that should give folks enough time, and Suzanne can reach out to the other regulatory.
Right, I will check their regular meeting schedules so that Mike can send his proposal to those boards in a timely fashion so that they can meet and get back. I'll let you know if the first meeting in February is a working date.
Okay.
Okay.
And through the chair as staff, is there also departments that we would get feedback from?
The conservation agent should take a look at it, and
What about the health department?
I don't think it has to go. I don't think it has to go before the Conservation Commission because of the footage between the edge of the resource and the.
It's upland enough.
Existing, and it's a practice that if it weren't the commercial piece, the actual having the racks there and having boats on them is an existing practice at Gull Pond. But I would rather be safe and have a committee say, oh, we don't have any purview here. So rather than after the fact, it should have come before us.
Right.
So that's where I'm heading.
I even want to just put
I
an
have a
opinion,
hypothetical
even if
question.
they don't.
And respond to the request with their feelings, even though it's not within their regulatory authority. Yeah.
Josh?
Yeah, but I think what you just said, it makes sense to get their feelings, is appropriate. To your point, though, if it is outside the jurisdiction, then I don't think we should allow them to have it within their jurisdiction. And the question I had is the concession at Newcomb Hollow, is within their jurisdiction, but my understanding is, do they offer a permission to run?
They would deny the permission to conduct this business or this practice within the resource zone if they felt it was an inappropriate activity for the resource zone.
Sure.
So to me, this abuts the resource zone, but it's a fine line. I'm not going to that's not my call. I'll talk to Alicia about it and get some more direction.
No, sorry, I apologize. My question was at Newcomb Hollow, the food concession that's there.
There's no food concession at Gull Pond.
Newcomb Hollow.
At Newcomb.
Newcomb Hollow, yeah.
At Newcomb Hollow. Does
yeah.
the conservation approve that permit every year?
You don't have to.
No, because it's in the parking lot.
Yeah, if it's within a town land.
If he were in the dune, or on the beach, yes, they would have to approve it. But because he's on the parking lot, the macadam, it doesn't apply.
The point of my question was understanding that even though an argument could be made that we're encouraging people to go up and down the dune more often to go get snacks during the course of the day, it is outside of the jurisdiction of that regulatory body. And so I would caution us from inviting too many regulatory authorities into a decision to create too much of decision paralysis. But if we think it's appropriate, that's fine as input. However, I don't think we should unilaterally say it's within their jurisdiction if it normally would not be.
Exactly, right.
Right.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
I hear. I'd like to have as much information out to the people who think about these things as possible, and then if they see a reason to get involved, that's on them, not on us.
Okay.
Okay.
So I shall go forth, Mike and Michelle,
Yes.
and plan a campaign.
All right.
Thanks, Suzanne.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne. I'll touch base with you outside the meeting, and we can
Yeah.
make a plan of attack for exactly who we should reach out to.
I think that's a good idea, because that's not the topic on the meeting, what you and I are going to do next.
All right.
Exactly. If I can add one thing, I was going to support what Ryan had commented on. We're a firm believer in that the best way to get someone to care about the natural resources is to have them interact with the natural resources. The more we can get people out on the water and the ponds, the more they'll start to care and actually take care of it. And that's always been my mission. So I hope that we can continue that and further that effort through this project as well.
And I do too. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Suzanne.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you,
Thank
Suzanne.
you.
Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
The same
Good
to
night.
you, and you have a good evening yourself.
Okay, moving on. Steve Kopitz. Come on up. You've got a nice warm chair to sit in.
That's right.
And thank you for
Let me power up here.
Okay, Steve, take it away.
Yeah, let me power up my computer here. But basically, you'll recall I was here 3 months ago, And we're working on the MBI project. I think MBI may have given us the provisional approval by that time. They have since given us the formal approval. So the agreement is now in process, and, you know, the MBI had some money they had to move out the door. We wanted to facilitate the movement of that money towards us, and so we're in reasonably good shape. I'm hoping that, we'll, depending upon how administration goes, but the agreement might be signed this week. MBI wants to get it done before year end because they have budgetary considerations. So let me see if I can fire up my things here. And Tomas will help me when I don't know how to do this stuff. Let's see, Wellfleet website. And it is the 17th today? 16th.
Today's the 16th, yeah.
Yeah, we have another one tomorrow.
All right.
You want to join us for that as well?
No, I do not. If I had something constructive to say, but I have absolutely nothing beyond this that I have today, so. So anyway, while I get this fired up here, so at this juncture, hold on.
Wasn't I spraying blonde when I got here? I thought I was.
Passcode.
I didn't either. Bald spot up there.
Copy.
Is there anything I can help you with, Steve?
I'm just trying to join the meeting so I can show you the presentation.
Recording in progress.
All righty.
Sounds like you're getting there.
Yeah, I'm getting there. If Tomas would be so kind,
I got it.
join as a panelist.
She's
Thank
got
you,
it,
Tomas.
she's got it.
Yep.
Okay.
I want to be able to kind of show you where we are, so,
Recording in progress.
all right. I'm a show and tell kind of guy.
We're going on hour 3, sir.
Yeah, I was just going to
I
mention
understand.
that.
I'm
Not his
hearing
fault.
just a little.
Yeah, we don't want to lose the crowd.
All right, everybody. Let me go back here and join Zoom Workplace. No, here we are. And then I want to share. All righty. Everybody see that? Tomas, you got it?
It's you.
Oh, hold on, let me share it. I did everything but hit the button. Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, guys. Okay. So let me take you down page by page here. So a little bit where we are, the MBI grant has been approved. This is our third grant in 30 months for $485,000 in total, and we've gotten some recognition from the community. We've presented to Cape Cod Tech Council, and more recently, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council reached out to us for how we're doing it. So we're getting some visibility and some success here. So tonight we'll just be talking about the MBI grant, which is in two parts, one for the harbor area and one for 95 Lawrence. So here's the plan for the harbor. I won't take you through the gory details, but the current thinking is that we are going to have a total of 4 on the Harbor Masters building, possibly 5. So we're budgeting 5, but we're showing 4 because in theory we can do that. That'll cover the marina, the pier, some of the moorings, and backwards towards the dock and the picnic area at Mac Shack. And then we're planning to have 2 at the sticker shack. Those will be mounted on the existing pole that's up there already. One will be an omnidirectional, which will cover that general area again back towards the pier. and there will be a directional right now that's anticipated to shoot directly at the pier. We may solve that from the harbor master's house, but in any event, that's the planning there. At the rec building, there will also be two. These are anticipated to be two omnidirectional receivers that'll cover most of the area, and they will be installed under the soffit on the building, so no pole. And the cable will be either trenched or taken through an existing conduit. So low visual impact is what we're trying to angle for there. 95 Lawrence. So where's Barbara? Barbara asked me last time, what are you asked me to foreshadow the issues that might arise at 95 Lawrence. And I was, as I recall, somewhat evasive. So the issue was the contract's original concept was to put the cable, to terminate it in the lower building, in the lower village, which is the apartment building on Long Pond Road, put in 6 interior units and then put a couple of directional units on the top of the lower building back towards the townhouses, and so solve it that way. The issue that arose there was that there was some discomfort on various levels about having town property in a private development, in effect, because our equipment would have been inside POA. Now, POA was basically okay with this, although they weren't super thrilled about our tearing up their walls either. So if we had gone with that solution, we would have had to have a formal agreement with POA about things like vandalism, insurance, replacement, access, blah, 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 the whole rest of it. So this sort of created, I would say, probably not an insoluble problem, but one where there was a leaning preference towards a solution that didn't involve active engagement with POA. And the solution which came up here was essentially to put in a pole, virtually exactly the same as the poles on the beaches. And that pole would then have 2 directional antennas heading towards the townhouses. I'm sorry, 3 directional antennas, 2 to the townhouses, 1 back to the building, to the lower building, and then an omnidirectional per Ryan's request from last meeting, if you recall. He said have something for the school, and that'll cover the ballpark and the exterior part of the school and radiate to some extent into the school. Okay, so that's the solution that you can see on the screen there.
Question, if I could, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
As it relates to the school, Stephen, is there a way that, I'm sure that the principal will not want Wi-Fi going if they cut Wi-Fi off for cell phones and stuff? Is there a way that they'll be able to disable that if they need to?
Yeah, you could in theory, Tom. I mean, so the way you would do that is you turn off the omnidirectional receiver, and either Ryan or Chris Burt can probably do that. So if it turns into a policy issue, we can, because the directional receivers are all facing towards from the pole facing towards the townhouses and the lower village. It's only the omnidirectional one, which would cover the ballpark.
And it may not be an issue with
the answer is sure, it can be turned off if you want.
But we certainly need to talk to him about that as well.
If there's an issue, it can be addressed.
Thank you, Stephen.
So this is the same coverage here from the satellite view. And what you can see here in that inner core area where it's a little bit darker pink or orange or whatever that color is, that's where the buildings actually are. The rated coverage zones of the receivers that we're using are what are the bigger arcs. So these directional ones, we're getting 1,700 feet at the ocean with them in terms of range. Here I'm only showing 800 feet. And that's because when there are no obstacles at the ocean, here there are trees and things, so that's about. So technically this should provide some degree of coverage outside the direct town area, which may give us some modest amount of optimism that these things will actually penetrate through the buildings and provide coverage to everybody in the facility, but we don't know that. Okay? And then the omnidirectional, you can see, covers the entire school at a 400-foot radius, and we've been getting 800 feet in the parking lot at the various beaches and 400 feet, so that's kind of the rated thing here, okay? So these are the views. This is the view from 33 feet, so this is the same height pole as we're using at the beaches, at the same height as on the beaches. And this is what you can see if you have a small drone, which I now do. So that's the lower village. You can see a clear line of sight. Everybody on that side will be fine. Here's the upper village, and you can see that some of the buildings are shadowed and some of them aren't. And then just more of the buildings there. So in general, go up, man. Go up. Okay. So I think I have it on this map. In general, if you can see where the little circles are, outline circles, that's where his line of sight from the pole. You can see some of the units are not visible from the pole. There's almost nowhere to put the pole that we have direct line of sight to all the townhouses. The benefits of this, again, are it's all town property, town pole, town Wi-Fi, other than that I've kept the POA guys informed of what we're doing and sought their input to make sure that, as much as we can to serve the area well. We have no need of any formal engagement with them whatsoever. This is just another town pole that happens to be next to an affordable development. There are a couple of points just a couple of, so this is all the good news. Let me give you the bad news. The good news is we're in budget and we have a little extra to play with if we need that. The bad news is that the lead times for ordering the bigger dimension cables, the 48-strand cables, in our case, have gone up to 40 weeks. So, yeah, I had a conversation with Comtract yesterday. It was rather eye-opening. Apparently what has happened is all these new AI data centers have just sucked up all the cable in the country. So, I mean, from our point of view, the original thinking was, well, we wouldn't put it up in the fall because why expose the equipment to nor'easters for the winter? We can just put it up in the spring and March. And that until yesterday about noon was the actual theory we were operating under. And well, that's not the theory right now. So we have to sit down with Tom and John and whatever and figure out, just when we want to push this thing to head and when we're going to pull the trigger and hopefully it gets done. I think the school, because it only requires one 12-strand cable, and it's only a little more than 1,000 feet in total, so it's not a big deal. We'll probably be able to do the 95 Lawrence. I think that should go through pretty smoothly. I hope, knock wood. But Newcomb Hollow and getting the fiber to the harbor, we may be looking almost this time next year. So.
Will the grant survive that period of time?
Yeah, we have until the end of next year on the MBI.
The end of 26?
End of 26, and we have till the end of 26 on, I'm sorry, both the MBI and the Muni Fiber grants are end of 26.
Calendar 2026, right? Sorry, that's me.
Yes, ma'am. Calendar 26, the best of my knowledge.
Yep.
However, both of them can be extended.
Okay.
So it's not a hard deadline. They just want to make sure that we're just not sitting on the money and not doing anything.
Right.
So I don't, but honest God, we'd really like to get it done.
Well, it seems to me you'll be able to furnish proof that, you've ordered the
The
cable.
truth is
You
that
just have to wait for it.
we communicate with people. We have a good reputation right now. We're pretty straightforward. So, I mean, they understand we're not trying to be cute here. So I don't anticipate problems, but would desperately like to get it done, certainly before the summer if we could. But right now it's not in our hands.
That's okay.
So one more item, and then I'll go to the punchline here. This home internet 5G has begun to pop up on my radar. So just so you kind of understand what these economics are that are lurking out there. So this pole that we're having, this one pole with the equipment, it's about $40,000, okay? For $32,000, you could put a 5G microcell on top of it. That has a range of 500 meters and could serve 200 homes. So if you did the economics of this, I'm just giving you numbers, I'm not making suggestions, but just so you understand, that you could make a return of about 15%, an IRR of 15%, with monthly household subscription rates of $25.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we are not anywhere near ready to start a public utility.
I'm not even going to bring it to you as an action item. I just want you to understand that the environment in which internet services are being provided to our communities is changing. the most important thing is when you hear all these price lock things from all the various internet providers, you're not locking them in, they're locking you in.
Mr.
So these
Kopitz,
prices will change.
I appreciate this, but I think we need to stay on.
Yeah, that's
stay on
okay.
track.
I just want
No,
to
this is
bring to
not-
your
I do have a
attention
couple
that
questions.
technology is going to be changing quite a bit over the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, yeah.
And this will affect
kinda knew
the
that.
community. Okay, that's it. That's
So,
all I
Josh?
have for you. The action item today is limited to approve the project and accept the MBI grant. That's all, that's the action item for
And
today.
the grant is for 85,000.
For $85,000.
Right. That
Josh, you
can
had
be
a question?
renewed if it's
Yeah.
not utilized by the
It
end
can
of
be
next
extended.
year. Okay.
Couple quick questions. You don't need to answer them tonight, but just things that we should have answers to. Do we plan on decommissioning the microwave antenna on top of the water tower once we install infrastructure at the harbor?
There has been some question about removing them from the buildings in the harbor, whether that redundancy is going to remain or not. From the water tower, we haven't discussed it. You know, the problem is every time you touch anything, the water tower is really expensive.
Yep.
And so the answer is I'm not sure. It's going to depend upon our own IT guys, Chris Burt, and contract.
Can I just?
Yeah.
We're, in the capital plan this year, we put in the money to fix the tank. We took a year off looking for grants. We could talk to whoever gets the bid on, doing an ad, or doing a bid addendum just to see what it would cost to remove that, and if we don't want to do it, we wouldn't have to take it.
Right. We don't necessarily have to remove it. We just have to take it offline. We essentially have to pull the plug on it, possibly. Just something just to consider as we're deploying this.
Technically, I'm not sure that we have to do it. I'm not.
God bless you.
I'm not, I don't know the answer to the question, but I don't know that we're under duress to do it. We may choose to do it.
No, we're certainly not. Just something just to keep in mind. I'm very, very modestly concerned. This is not a full concern, but a modest concern that if the Lawrence Road Wi-Fi becomes tremendously popular and used, that the town of Wellfleet has a defined bandwidth we get from our ISP, from Open Cape, and we have a very favorable rate from them. And so there is a scenario where excessive usage at Lawrence Hill will impede the speed of the network at large, which would be municipal services. So we just need to make sure that we have county IT monitoring bandwidth usage and spikes. And if we do see that there's a lot of usage, we may have to increase our bandwidth with Open Cape. I had a very quick conversation with a gentleman at Open Cape. He called me and I asked him this question directly. It's a nominal amount of money. It's not nothing, but we do need to prepare for it.
Okay.
That if we did need to increase the bandwidth of the town, we could to accommodate Lawrence Hill. So as part of the plan of deploying this project, whenever it comes online, we just need to make sure that our county partners are aware and monitoring this so that, on a Tuesday afternoon, town hall doesn't come to a screeching halt because the internet stops working.
Right.
So just wanted
Yeah,
to.
I mean, Chris, County IT and Ryan can monitor that stuff real time.
Absolutely.
So it can be throttled back. I don't know how much the incremental cost of service might be if we need it. But I would anticipate it wouldn't be tragic.
I would agree with you. And this is really more of a comment to town administration as
Yeah.
well, is that as we continue to have conversations with our ISP, we just need to make sure that what is that scenario if it occurs, and also a conversation with our county IT partners, Chris Burt, et cetera, to be prepared to possibly temporarily throttle some access points as we balance things out, if necessary. Very, very small concern, but a non-zero concern. I just want to make sure we're prepared.
Thank you for
That's
that
it for
one.
me. Thank you. And also, thank you.
Barbara, did you have something?
Oh, no.
Hold up.
No, I think it's a great project.
Yep.
So
Fantastic.
I'm
Me too.
very thankful
It's a lot of work.
for Stephen's efforts on it.
Yeah.
You've done a great job.
Yeah.
So,
So we would have to move to accept the grant.
Yeah.
So moved.
second.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, I.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. 5-0.
All righty.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for
Really,
your
thank
patience,
you. It's
Steve.
a lot.
And for your hard work.
And not everybody knows what the hell you're talking about, so that's really good. It's good that someone knows what to do.
Drive safe, though. It's slippery.
All right, good night.
Thank you, Stephen.
Looks like our last business item is
Now, this-
Town hall.
is John Bugby,
are we,
the town
we're,
hall.
We have two more items.
we don't have
Town accountant as well.
G?
Oh, yeah.
No,
The town accountant's
Okay,
not going to make
that's
it
been-
tonight.
home with a mask on,
Okay,
Understood.
and John is here.
John is here.
Town accountant is down for the count.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't hear that. Thank you.
All right.
But the assistant town administrator is not down for the count.
I don't know, you look
There you
pretty
go,
bad
John.
today,
Hey,
sir.
John, before you start, Tom, should we hold on to the town accountant for next time? or-
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we're going to move that.
Yes, but we'll end up,
Subject to change. You don't have to hold on to it. It's
Oh,
subject
okay.
to change.
yeah, we'll reprint it, that shouldn't be.
Okay, all right, sorry, John, go ahead.
Okay, I'll be real quick. So we went out to bid twice for the rehab of the town restrooms. The first one we went out to bid for, bids came back too high. We went back to the engineer and said, let's see if we can amend the scope, bring this down a little bit. And he did that. We went back out to bid. We got favorable bids, with the low bid being a company from Boxford, Mass, a company called Unicon. They bid on the first one and they bid on the second one. I've talked to him a few times. In the middle of working with him on contractual issues, but what you have in front of you is the low bid. Jay's confirmed he has the funding for the project, so this is all ready to go, just need your approval. And real quickly, I think in the packet is his proposal and the proposed contract, which the vendor has approved.
Yep.
And the last thing, the template and the contract language that you see is the contract language as provided by town council. So town council tells me which template to use that they've approved, that's what we use, and that's what's in front of you.
So through the chair,
Yes.
yeah, John, so this is our contract or KP's contract that we're using?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, thank
that
you.
is correct.
All right, thank you.
One question is, when is the expected completion date? I know that was,
So we hope to have this done by next season, so the busy season beginning in, say, early May. So to answer your question, if everything goes to plan, hopefully this is done in April. This should not be anything longer than a 30 to 45 day project, max.
thank you, sorry, I just found the date in the contract, it's April 1st.
Okay.
Yes.
But sorry, hold on. There's a typo.
Oh,
It says April 1st, 2025. I'm looking at,
That's,
Oh, I'll fix that. I'll fix that. That's not a problem. I'll fix that.
I have no doubt.
Sometimes the template gets provided and I double check mostly the language, but the dates aren't always double checked, so I'll fix that.
I'm the king of typos, I just wanted to call it out.
that's good.
Because I saw that April 1st, 2025, I was trying to understand, that was, okay, this all
The
makes sense.
April 1st is correct, the 2025 I will fix before it gets signed.
No, this makes sense to me. Okay, that was my only question, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if there's no further discussion, I'd like to move to approve the Unicon contract for the Wellfleet Town Hall Restroom Improvement Project as presented tonight.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye?
And John, aye. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, John.
Okay, that brings us to
Town meeting,
Town meeting.
business E.
business E, town meeting date. Let me just pull that up here.
May 4th.
Monday, May 4th.
Both
Sounds
the
good to me.
moderator and the town clerk are okay with this date.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me. There's no further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I move to set the annual Springtown meeting for Monday, May 4th, 2026, at 6 o'clock at the Wellfleet Elementary School Gymnasium.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. And with that, we get to Select Board reports. And who has a Select Board report?
I was going to make one, but honestly, I'm fried at this point.
Right, we're going to do the minutes.
Like fried beans or something.
If it would please the board, I'll submit my correspondence to the executive assistant to include in the minutes and not read aloud.
Excellent.
Second.
Very good.
Yes.
All
all in
right,
favor.
and
We all agree.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
I refuse. No, just kidding.
I mean, I've already read one act.
Hey, we're
of
getting
play
punchy
today.
now.
I could read
Let's
another.
get to these
You've
minutes.
done a good job.
I only stumbled once. Sorry.
You did a good job.
We still got business to take care of. Excuse me.
Rebecca, is this?
No.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
You're just announcing it.
Yeah, okay, in that case, my Select Board report is that at long last, I have completed the annual evaluation of our town administrator, and the total of the scores is 7.34, well above
If it's going,
Expectations.
if it's going to be the review, that actually has to be its own agenda item. So, and
Oh,
not
okay.
just a report.
Well,
Well, I can report that it's been done.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, all right, then we'll leave it at that.
We'll put it on for
the next one.
June?
April, no. We'll put it on quickly so we can.
Yeah,
put
yes,
this
we
to
can
bed
say
to
goodbye
start
to
the
it. That's
next one.
right.
So, yeah.
I'll thank my fellow board members for getting the information in and apologize for taking so long to collate it and get it done. And thank you, Sheila, for helping me.
No problem.
Okay, in that case, I guess we're up to town administrator's report.
It is late.
Yeah.
Budget, and more budget. And I am going to ask the board that during the week of the 6th, it's not on your schedule, to have a separate remote budget meeting. So we can tell you where we're at, where the hiccups are, and what your recommendations may be. We know what we want to do, but I'm sure there's going to be some discussion on what we want to do to make this work. But I would like to have the opportunity before I put it to bed and finish my budget message to have the board take a look.
Okay.
I don't know
I already have it in my calendar as a select board meeting. We're
which
not,
day.
The
6th of January.
Yeah, that's a regular meeting. In addition
Oh,
to.
you want to
it's
double it up
addition.
that day?
Not that day. I know you have a meeting on the 6th, but sometime during that week.
I understand.
I'll reach out tomorrow with an email.
I don't know my schedule yet,
That's okay.
so.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then, do we have any topics for future
Well,
discussion?
the only other thing with town administrator's report is, I can thank the DPW,
I was
the
going to
town
do
staff.
that.
Oh, okay.
That was on my list, but yeah.
Just, I don't know, all the forecasts said it was gonna be rain. Obviously was not rained.
No, I think so, but I didn't think it was going to be.
In my.
Just
Jay's on, he can hear.
No, they did a fabulous job.
Right.
Jay and I were in communication over the course of the storm.
I saw that, yeah.
And just as an antidote, my wife says, "Do they know what they're doing down there with snow?" And I said, "Yes.
Yes.
The DPW in Wellfleet knows how to tackle any problem.
We're not
at
in
any time."
Maryland, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They did a wonderful job.
Super job.
It was a hard
Tough
storm.
state. Anyway, yes, thank you, Jay. If we could just get that plow to go the other way, so when it comes and shovels the snow by my house, it doesn't pile
We'll have
more
them
up.
back in, okay.
Yeah, you gotta go the other way. I'll point it out on a map.
All right,
But
let's do minutes and go home.
Okay, then, I guess, are there any topics for future discussion this evening?
I have the date. January 30th, 2024 is when that vote was made,
What vote?
that the chair is allowed to
Okay.
release comments.
2024.
2024, January 30th. The chair is allowed to look at a town council opinion and decide if it's able to be released without the consensus of the board.
there you go.
I wasn't here yet.
So Rebecca preempted me, because I was going to say we need to reaffirm this, but if it already exists, so I'm not sure if Zoom heard you,
But I
Rebecca.
can
so
re- I can
I'm gonna repeat
release-
that. Okay, so in 2024, the select board voted to, at the chair's discretion, release town council's opinion. Because town council's opinion is privileged, it's not public record unless the select board votes to make it public record. However, the chair has the unilateral authority outside of a regular select board meeting to release that opinion if they deem necessary.
And this is relating to what specifically?
Well, we have
Or
a,
anything?
Legal opinions in general.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so it's not,
Like, when I was chair for a lot of them, if it was about an agenda item and it wasn't detrimental to the interests of the town, I would just put it straight in the packet, because people always ask, and it's like, well, the town council opinion, and I'm like, so it's just
Okay.
easier just to put it.
Well, that's good to know.
you know,
But the other thing there is largely that some of these things are set by votes of the select board, and they're hard to find after the fact, and so some of them we should probably look at putting into policy. This is one. The contract threshold is another that should be in a policy rather than just as a vote made in the past. Yeah.
okay.
All right. Any further topics for future discussion? Seeing none, I see the next meeting dates and the minutes. I don't seem to have the
minutes
minutes.
of December, dig down deep there, John, there is.
December 2nd. Unless I misplaced them in here.
I don't have any issues with these minutes, does anybody? So I move to approve the meeting minutes of December 2nd, 2025 as printed.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
And then, oh, wait.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye.
Just a very quick question.
Yeah.
Is when is the parking going to be before us?
January 6th.
All right.
Great. And let's send a snowplow up for them in case.
I guess with the indulgence of the chair, I move to adjourn.
I second.
So,
Oh, I'm crushed. Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye.
Yay.
Thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.
Yeah, we got to break.